Welcome back, guys. We're debate the news. Once again, we've been speaking about Trump bans 12 nations. Kill the bill is what we're speaking about as well. Kill the bill, and we're also going to speak about what we've been speaking about, the Harvard situation. So that's what we've been speaking about. We're back live on CH, guys. If you guys give us a moment, just trying to get some of the people over there on CH up, and then we're gonna be able to. Get the people in CH. All right, there we go. All right, so with that being said, um, Cindy, I'll say this. I think that what's happening with Harvard, Cindy, I know you say people don't care about what happened to Harvard,
That's
and that's
not what I
true.
what that's not what I said. I said, let me
The
repeat
average people
myself.
don't care.
I think the average American does not really feel bad or sit here and worry about Harvard. That is what I said. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. Don't feel not feel bad about what happened with
No,
Harvard.
they're worrying about how they're going to turn their lights on, where they're going to live, how they're going to support their food, how they're going to support their family. I think that's what the average American is worried about right now.
Okay, I'm not gonna disagree with that. But once again, and that's why we have to worry about these some of these things, and the reason we have to worry about something because our rights are tied up in this. For the longest time, I remember you guys used to get mad at Tara and myself when we used to speak up for the gentleman that was kicked out of the country and sent down to El Salvador. Uh, and the reason you guys like, oh, you guys are supporting criminals, illegal aliens, and all that other stuff. And we're like, no, we just support, our rights. There's rights, and we don't want our rights taken because if we're okay with that right person's right getting taken, one day ours. And the Supreme Court agreed with us, and every other court agreed with us, and said that they said the same thing pretty much that due process is afforded to everyone. So and it's sometimes it's hard to sit back.
But
Cindy, I was
Jonathan,
pro. Hey,
come on.
hold on, wait.
No, every president
I'm
has
almost
been
done, Cindy. Hold on, wait,
deported.
Cindy, 1 second. Cindy, I was more pro. I was pro Israel. I'm still more pro Israel than most people are. Okay, but I still say, hey, let them protest. I hated the protest. I remember when they blocking the airport. I said, yeah, one of these days they're gonna get taught a lesson. People got upset with me because of what it implied. When I said that. But once again, you know, I'm still for people having their rights because I don't want my rights to be questionable when I need them. I don't want my due process to be questionable when I need it. That's all. I
And
land. Go
that's
ahead,
what you
Cindy.
think what's going to happen to Americans that are literally Americans? Like, you think that's going to happen to you? Do you really believe
Cindy,
that? Sincerely? Sincerely,
Cindy,
should I worry? Should I worry that
Cindy.
I might be taken to another country too?
No, Cindy. I'm not talking about other countries. I'm talking about due process. It has
Oh,
nothing to do with other countries. It has to do with due
so you
process.
don't think you think Americans are going to be lose their rights? That's what you're saying,
No,
correct?
no. Like, Cindy, when we had
I
I say
think
this
you're
all the time.
taking it a little too far,
After
but it's
nine
okay.
eleven, we did the Patriot Act and we did the FISA court. Guess what? It was only supposed to be extraordinary times, extraordinary measures, and it goes away. We have never gotten rid of the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act is still there today, and FISA courts are still there today. Okay, so and it's been reauthorized every time. Once you give up a right, the government doesn't give it back. Okay, and so if we say it's okay to make due process optional, okay, it's not just going to be optional just for them. It's going to become optional for everyone.
So, what would
That's
you
my
like, Jonathan? Would you like to have all these illegal? I don't like the word migrants. I hate all those words, by the way.
undocumented.
Should every one of them get a court hearing? Is that what you're saying?
If that's what it
That would take
calls.
the next 20 years.
No, it wouldn't, Cindy.
How long?
You do 90-second or 2-minute hearings.
Okay, and what does that look like? Cite me an example.
They do the Obama did it better than anyone.
Okay, he's still.
That's why
I'm
Obama was
sorry
so
though.
that's why
He's
Obama
still.
was
Obama still deported how many?
a lot.
What's the
He was a deporting
okay?
chief. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But no
Well,
one complained because he did it the
again,
right way.
really,
No one really
really.
complained.
because it wasn't in the public eye. You know it, and I know it.
No, no,
No,
Cindy,
it
Cindy.
was. The Democrats
No, it
hated
really
him for
wasn't.
that.
No, it
I'm,
really
I'm in
wasn't.
Texas. I can
Not
assure
like it
you
is right
it
now.
was.
Not like it is
He was
now.
known as the great deporter. As Jonathan is right. As soon as they popped over the border, he popped their ass right back out. The Dems hated a lot of Dems hated him for that. He got constant criticism for that. He
He
did.
wasn't bragging about it on the news and making press conferences and, showing all these people, being
And ICE
deported.
is running through the streets.
Cindy,
Cindy,
Cindy.
one thing you said I wanted to step to talk about, and that is do you think that U.S. citizens are losing their rights? And I do think
Yes, I do.
there are
Yes, I
some
do.
U.S.
I do.
citizens that
I
are
do.
losing their rights.
Here,
And
I'll cite you many
yeah,
examples. Who are you
okay,
to take fossil fuel from me in Massachusetts? Who the hell are you people to say I cannot have a home with gas heat, a gas stovetop, a gas dryer? Who the hell are you people to say if I want to cut down a tree in my backyard, I'm going to have to pay you per caliber of every tree I take down in my own backyard? Yes, I do believe we're losing rights, but that's on a state level. Your state allows fossil fuel. But my state, I don't know, six, seven cities and towns have adopted that law. Do I think that's losing rights? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And who
Yeah,
does
no,
those?
Cindy,
Who
Cindy,
passes these laws, Dr. Catherine? The liberal loonies. That's
Cindy.
who
You know what,
passes
Cindy?
these laws.
Cindy, let me just say this right here. When we went from leaded gas to unleaded gas, we had the same complaints. When we went from you can't drive and drink and drive, okay, and you can't have open containers in the car. People complained about that. Oh, God, I'm hardworking. I'm an adult. If I want to be able to drink on my way
Too
home and
bad.
relax, I
That caused deaths,
no,
okay?
no, but Cindy, what I'm saying to you is, you know,
Bad
pe-
constructions
people.
causing things
What I'm
bad.
saying is, people led the way. What I'm saying is that some states led the
Okay.
way.
The
Some states.
infrastructure, you know what infrastructure is, right? Build your infrastructure if you want everything run by electric. And by the way, what runs electric? Oh, that would be called gas. Okay? Remember that. So if the infrastructure is not built, how the hell are you going to make cities and towns across America go with electric when we don't have the infrastructure? Explain that to me, Jonathan. Build the infrastructure first, then pass these laws.
And then
Maybe
this
it's
is
going to
what
come with all that manufacturing that's
what
supposed
she's
to be
saying is
brought back
right.
after
I,
tariffs. So I
I
don't
just
know.
want to say one thing, if I could. One thing, what she just said is right. But you know what you need to build infrastructure, and this is exactly why Trump is right. Going back to the Harvard thing. We need people who know how to work with welding, work with bricks, work with piping, work with electric. We need people
Exactly.
who are able to work with their hands
Oh
and
my
do these
lord!
trade. Hold on, and do these trade jobs. So
He's
the $2
right.
billion
He's
that
right.
you're that you're
We
sending
need skilled
over to
labor.
Harvard,
But
we need to train
here's
these people to be
but
able to build
American kids
infrastructure
don't want to do that. So
because it's
now
not
what you've done
available.
is you're taking the you're taking good guys that work real hard. Okay, they might be here illegal, but they've been here working here for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, have built businesses, and now you're deporting them left and right. There should have been a secondary plan. He ran off of he was going to get the bad guys out of here, the bad people, right? Am I correct on that?
But how do
It
we know
was
American kids don't want to do that if it's not being offered to
God,
them?
look at them. They're a bunch of
But
fucking
it's not being
pussies. That's
offered to
That's
them.
why.
I
it's
mean,
not being
Come on,
it's
offered.
not
That's
being
God.
right.
offered.
And
Come
that's
on,
what Trump is
God.
talking about
Why?
doing.
Why? Because why? Because most American kids want to be, I don't know, YouTube fucking Instagram famous. Like, come on, let's have a real discussion here. Okay? These kids got to get back to some basics.
I mean, parents don't raise their kids to be like, wow, I aspire to be a builder. Nobody ever
Well,
tells their
why
fucking
shouldn't
kid
they?
that. You tell them, go to college, get a college
Why,
education,
but
become
why,
a
why shouldn't they?
professional. It is
Why
a
shouldn't
third
parents tell them?
tier economic
We got to get
decision
them
to
out
Not
of
be a
that
every
state
kid
builder
of
is
or a
source
mind.
welder in this
material.
country,
Okay,
right?
for
You,
14.
over the course of your
I've been
career, you're
running
going to
that.
make
I've been
less
running
money than
that for
someone with a college
15 plus
degree.
years.
So let's be honest, this is not something that people aspire to in the United States of America is to fucking
Mhm.
put
I'm going
tile in
up
the
here.
fucking living room
There's the
for
stigma
rent
T
right
ready.
there,
free.
buddy.
We got to pull them away
There's the
from that
stigma
state
right
of
there.
mind. Stop with all the,
There's
I could say a
Hmm?
lot of
that's
things.
that stigma right there. There's the stigma right there. Their parents. Okay, so send your kid off to college for another 4 years. That your kid is not really a college kid to begin with. C's and D's. Okay, yep, and let them come out with 80,000 or 100,000 or whatever the number is in college debt, and they'll be paying that for the rest of their lives, right? At $18 or $20 an hour. Come on, you
I send
can't
little
shit on the
Jamal off
trades.
to school,
We
and
need men and
he
women
comes
out there
back,
working with their
Jamila.
hands.
Send him out to Harvard for a few years, good education. He comes back, Jackie. That's the problem.
Okay, but Trump just cut funding for Job Corps, so I'm confused. What are we
We
mad
need
at
to get some
exactly?
Job Corps going.
So,
We need to get some.
I'm
We
not
need to
mad at
get
the
some.
government for
We need
that.
to get some
I'm
trade
mad at
you're
the
schools
not
going.
mad at
parents.
the government
Jackie,
for
I'm not
cutting
mad. I'm
Job
not
Corps?
mad. No, I'm mad at the parents. I'm mad at parents that don't guide their kids properly. You are not college material, then go out and learn a trade. Go out and learn a trade. That man is right. We need guys out there. We need women out there. We need welders. We need pipe fitters. We need it all out here.
But
You
Cindy,
want to
that's what
keep building? How
Cindy,
do you
that's what
want to
Job Corps
build with?
did. Cindy, that's what job just
But
that's what Job
but
Corps did.
yeah, but it was not a great. It didn't work as well as everybody thought it was going to work, Jonathan.
But Cindy, you already have an infrastructure in place. Why shut it
No,
down?
you do not have the infrastructure in place for electric. No, you do
No,
not.
no, no. You have an instruction.
Job,
No, you have an
Job Corps
infrastructure
was
in
for
place
You
young
do
criminals.
not
for
have.
job. One second, one mic, guys.
Oh,
For
the
job,
infrastructure for
for
Job
Job
Corps.
Corps, job Corps is already there.
Okay,
Why?
well, look at the percentage. Look how well it's
Yeah,
not done.
once again, Cindy, you have the
Actually,
infrastructure in
the
place.
unions are doing better than Job Corps is. How's that? The unions have put a lot of money behind getting kids into the trades. A
Okay,
lot. And it's doing
Cindy,
much better than Job Corps. So let's call that factual information.
Cindy, what I'm saying to you is Job Corps Job Corps did is doing what it's supposed to do.
Really? What's the percentage, Jonathan?
What do you mean?
What's the
What's the
percentage?
percentage?
What's the percentage of kids doing it? Go ahead, tell me.
No,
How's
what I'm saying to you, Cindy, is Job Corps. That you guys once again, Job Corps taught a lot more than jobs. It taught life skills. Okay, everyone and some people leave Job Corps because they get a job. And so you guys are looking at the graduation rate and like, oh, the graduation rate is this. People left Job Corps early because they got jobs because they did learn a skill and they're like, man, I'd rather make this money now than wait till I'm done. Okay,
okay? Do you blame them?
that's what happens when you have poor kids from a certain social economic class. You know, they get an opportunity to take a job. May not be best. They're like, okay, I could hell. They might wind up working for that same union that you're talking about.
Okay. Or maybe one day they own their own electrical company or their own plumbing company or their own HVAC company. So they didn't do it wrong. They went out, they worked, they leveled themselves up. Next thing you know, you own a company.
That's right.
And then you got
And we
HVAC
can
guys
take some
buying
of
out
those Harvard
HVAC guy companies,
billions
plumbing
and
companies, electrical companies, pool companies, you name it right now. They're buying them out for a lot of money. Now these 50-year-olds are sitting pretty good, 40-year-olds, they're sitting pretty good right now that went into that field and started these companies. I mean, you don't start off in your 20s like you're the magic. You got to work your way up, buddy. Like
Cindy, I agree with that. Well,
what happened to working
what I'm
your way
saying
up
to
the
you,
ladder? What
but
happened
what
to
I'm saying.
that?
Yeah, Cindy, what I'm saying to you, Cindy, right now is that you guys are saying Job Corps was a failure because you guys are looking at the graduation rate. What you have to do is you can't look at just the graduation rate. What people leave Job Corps because they go to Job Corps because they want to earn something and they may not have a place to live, but when they get an opportunity for a job, okay, some people leave. Okay, they get life
Jonathan,
skills.
I don't
Can I
have
say something as an
facts on that
educator,
one. Maybe you
please?
do. I don't have the facts on that one.
Go ahead, Doctor Jen.
Job Corps do teach basic life skills that most people take for granted. So Jonathan is right in that. Okay, can we agree on that at least?
Life skills? Okay.
Yes, being able to write a check, balance a checkbook. I mean, simple things that parents teach you that not everyone gets. I
What the
work
hell
with
is
kids who,
balancing the checkbook in 2025?
listen to me, they're balancing a financial ledger and people still do write checks. whether
Yeah,
you do or
tell
not.
tell a 20 year
There's a
old to
lot of
write a
stores
check.
that don't even accept checks anymore. You know
Tell a
that?
twenty
I do
tell a
understand that,
20 year
but
old
you're
to
not
write it.
listening to what I'm
Dr.
saying.
Jen, tell a 20 year old to write a check. They'll be like, huh? What? What? No, I'm going to
Okay,
use my
ask,
phone and pay my
but
bill.
ask the 20-year-olds who I work with if they can. I know it's
I
outdated.
think
I
it's a
know it
little
so is cursive.
disingenuous to
Listen,
blame the
listen to me for
parents.
1 minute.
One mic on Dr. Jen.
Okay, I work in the education system. I have a professor, and I'm also now working at the school level, like high school. And I work with these kids. I see it. I've seen it for 20 years. So you
What do you
can give me
what do
any
you see?
statistics. Please let me finish.
No, I'm
You can give
asking you
me,
what you see so I understand what you say you're
I'm
seeing.
trying to say it.
Okay, good.
So kids that get this help, not just there, but other resources, it does make a difference when they go out for what you're talking about. Because I also agree that a college education is not always the way now. Get training. Because you leave, a lot of people leave college and they have $100,000 student loans and they can't pay it. I agree with that part. But what Jonathan is saying is also true. So there's a balanced approach.
And what are your high schools missing, Dr. Jen?
What we do,
What are your high
what
schools
we
missing right now? What's been taken out of every high school?
Well, I mean, would have been taking out of the schools for years, or all of the things that
Trades, the
creativity.
trades.
How are we getting onto
Correct.
this? Trades, but yeah, you know what? What is also a trade? Music. They've taken that
Okay.
out years ago.
Okay.
we don't later for music. We're done with the entertaining. We've
Yeah,
mastered the
one
art
second,
of
Jamal. We gotta get some other
entertaining.
voices in here. We gotta get some
All
other
Basic
right.
voices.
writing skills.
We gotta get some other voices in here. Anyone else wants to jump in on this? Because I want to, guys. Here's the deal. Donald Trump.
Catch me some, Jonathan.
Oh, it's always
Sure,
Donald
go ahead.
Trump. Stop blaming the
Yeah, so
presidents for everything, guys.
No, Cindy, I'm not doing that.
Stop
Go ahead, go ahead.
blaming the
The
presidents
first,
for everything.
the person I
Stop
want to ask a
blaming.
question. Go ahead.
I was gonna say this, and I'm in the same city as Cindy. This is James, right? But one thing I kind of had to disagree with you on, Cindy, is blaming the parents as far as taking that risk to send their children up to college, right? You go down to the basic level of that single family or that family that has that child that wants to actually have the initiative to go to college. They're not going to shortchange that child. They're
They
not going to
shouldn't.
say, well, right.
I
So
said
what I'm
that.
saying is, right. So
But
what I'm
not
saying
every
is,
kid, James, you know, and you
hold
live
on,
in
Cindy. I'm
Boston, you
almost done.
know
I'm almost
that.
done. I'm almost done because I just want to address every part of what you say because I fully understand your messaging. But if you really think about it, which family is going to say, you know what, I don't want to take that risk. You want to go to college, but I don't think you're college material, so I'm going to shortchange you and tell you to go to a trade school, even though you're telling me you want to go to college. Which
No, no, no.
family
No,
realistically
no.
is going to actually take that risk?
Let's go backwards a little bit because I think you're taking what I'm saying not correctly, James. Okay, the kid that doesn't want to go off to college, okay, and is saying to mom and dad, "I'm not college material. I had 4 years. I struggled in high school, but mom and dad, no, 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 no. We want you to go to college because it's you learn how to grow. You'll become independent, and you'll do okay in college. Come on, let's talk the truth here. There are
Yeah,
many
but
kids.
those students typically do not complete college. They drop out within the first year.
Why is
So
that?
that's kind of because they're not the material, so they won't have that 4 year loan like you're saying that's going to be over their head. They drop
So
out within the first year.
why did they have to lose a year of their life and still owe a year of college? Tell me
I
that.
mean, it happens, but at the same time, you know how a lot of these families are. They put their entire investment into their children, and they want to have them at the highest value. So they say, "No, go off to college," and they take that risk to say, "I hope something comes along where they just have a change of mind." There's counseling, peers, correct mentor, and they just take that chance, they take that risk on their child to hopefully figure it out along the way. And that's what we see globally. It's not even just in the US. So I feel
I
like
think Trump
unless,
supporting Diddy.
these children, 18, 19, have these, hard talks with their parents and say, listen, I know you guys want the best for me, but I really want to go to a trade school or da 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 da. Those, almost become antidotal situations. The majority of families
But
want their children
it's not, James, that's not
See
true.
that
I've known
shit
a
he said
lot of
right there is the
Unedited.
I've known a
problem, though.
lot
That's
of
the
kids
problem.
I just
that
want
their
to say something
parents
after you're
pushed them into
done.
college and they didn't want to go to college and they came out of college and they owed so much money and they're like, why the hell, 10 years later, why the
Hey,
hell did I
great
listen
news
to my
for
mom and dad?
unemployed.
If I
Jonathan,
could just
when
say
you have
one
time,
thing,
can I say
if I
one
could
last
just
thing and
say
then I'll wrap
one
up for the
thing
night?
very
Free Diddy
quickly.
the fast way.
I just want to say
Go ahead.
one thing real quick,
No,
and I
Jamal.
just
1 second, Jamal.
okay.
Go ahead,
I'll
Doctor
go
J.
after them.
Yep, Trump
Okay.
needs supporting
Okay.
Diddy.
Thank you. I agree with Cindy that if someone doesn't want to go to college and it's not for them and they're in college, and I agree with that. But I was considered an at-risk youth when I was a kid. Now, this is going to take me 1 minute, but I want you to listen to me, please. I was actually kicked out my sophomore year. All right. I
Make
got a
America
trade
great
when my daughter,
again.
now
Free
listen, this is
Diddy.
going somewhere. I got a trade. I became a beautician, cosmetologist, and I put myself through college with that. I was the kid that nobody thought would accomplish anything. I now have 7 degrees. I'm a professor. I've done all sorts of other things. I'm a psychotherapist, and no one would have ever thought that could have happened, not even myself. But I had
But
teachers that
we were
believed in
talking
me.
about
I had
Diddy, not
programs
you.
along the way that helped me. So there is hope for every kid. And if we take away these programs, they're not going to have that opportunity. And that's what terrifies me. I'm stopping right now, just 1 second. All because of everything that's going on and the fear that's being embedded, universities, I work at a university that we focus on helping kids that want to go to a 4 year university get their AA in Florida. Once you get an AA in Florida, you're guaranteed to go to a 4 year university. We're already seeing a decline in enrollment because kids are so scared of the narrative that's happening in the media. Keep that in mind, please. Thank you.
Yep,
All
we
right,
Can I
do,
I
just
just
say
Reverend.
want to say
this?
one
Can
thing
I just say this?
real quick.
I will
Go
agree
ahead.
with,
I'm
yeah, I
gonna be
will agree
done
with
very
Cindy though. The
quickly.
one thing that
Two
I would love to
sentences.
see come back
I just want to
is the
speak
trades in high school.
One
That
person at a
first,
time.
you know, the Don Boscos, the Madison trade, high schools, the high schools that that focused on trades. We don't have those, so these kids are just wondering in in those 4 years that they're in high school, in those last 2 years, they're wondering like, what are we gonna do? I guess it's just college because there's no other options. So I feel like the trades would definitely introduce different alternatives for them to either like or dislike, but at least have that choice there. So yeah.
All right. You're in the
Yeah,
matrix.
you went out.
He's
You went
in the
out there.
matrix.
But anyway,
I
You know,
yeah,
Go ahead.
then you know
Can
my
I talk
favorite
next?
saying.
Can I
You
talk
know
next?
my
Go ahead.
favorite saying.
Look
My
at
favorite
God.
saying will always be the same.
Uh,
Okay? Today, these guys that I work with daily make more money than the average doctor, average lawyer, and average accountant. Now, again, not the brain
I make more
surgeon,
money
not the
trapping.
heart surgeon, not the accountant that's at Price Waterhouse, right? That's not what I'm talking about. And the average lawyer that's has real estate closings and a little bit of ambulance chasing and I'm not talking about the criminal attorney that makes mega
make
money.
America great
Talk
again.
about
Free
the
Diddy.
average. Every one of the guys that works at C Stumper makes more money than those guys. Period. End of story.
Look, I
Okay.
just
I
want to
think
say one
but
thing, and
Dr.
anyway,
this is the
Jen.
only thing I
I
want to
think
say. I
I
just
think
want
Dr. Jen made a good point.
can anybody hear
But
me?
I just want to give y'all a view of the other side of what she was saying. She said she was an at-risk or
Nobody can
considered an
hear me, right?
at-risk student. Let's and I think this is what happened to the Job Corps situation, right? So you got to think about how many students were at-risk students there. I think we're giving them too much credit. A lot of them at-risk students were probably going there not doing the right thing and getting kicked out. Let's just keep it real. You know what I mean? Let's consider that. And maybe the states are just saying, hey, look, we're spending too much money. Half of these kids getting kicked out. The program is not good. You know, maybe that's what they're saying. You know, let's just look at that side of it instead of saying, "Oh, the president just kicking the program because he don't like it." You know,
okay.
maybe the program is just not working.
Okay, here's the thing. and I'll address this.
I think I said that half an hour ago, but okay, I like what you're saying.
I'll address that and then I'll reset. Here's the thing: Donald Trump is claiming that he wants to take money from schools like Harvard, okay, and put it into schools that teach trades. Okay, the Department of Labor has a school that has the infrastructure in place, okay, that they can actually go ahead and implement that. And they all they have to do is go in, work with that, and get it up and running to the way they want it ran. You don't if you're talking about pivoting, okay, to these kind of schools, but yet you're shutting this school down. That doesn't make sense. So that's it seems to me he's talking about both sides when he says that. So just wanted to say that. Now, folks, real quick, the Trump administration, Donald Trump, just hours ago, actually banned trial. I guess citizens from nationals from 12 different countries from coming into the country. And it's Afghanistan, Myanmar, formerly Burma, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, whatever, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. Okay. In addition to that, he also put I guess, a partial ban on people from Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. So, with that being said, this is all over X. It's blowing up on X. A lot of people are speaking about this, and um, my thing is, when you look at this, uh, why? Why is this happening now? And you look at some of these countries, and like Sudan, and Yemen and yeah, Sudan, those countries right now, they that's some of the countries that need um, asylum more than anything. But he actually shut down, bringing in people from these 12 countries. He barred them from coming into the country at all. Um, so, what are your thoughts on that? And when you look at that list of countries, all right, what are your thoughts based on that list of countries? Because the Krasnsteins over there on X said something, and I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say that because they spoke about the demographics of those countries, okay, and what type of demographic wasn't on that list. So that's what I want to bring. But what do you guys think? Is this going to make America safer by shutting this down? What is the Trump administration's what's behind not allowing people to come in from this country at
Hold
all?
on, I'm going to call Donald right now and ask him. Ding, ding,
Call
ding,
who?
ding, ding. I'm calling Donald Trump and ask him right
No,
now.
no, no. Well, Cindy,
No,
you got to look
I'm
at.
gonna call.
No,
I
I
think
want
one
you
of
to
us should
call him.
call
Just
him
call
right
him.
now and
Call him.
ask him what's
Yeah,
Call
but
him.
his.
Cindy, here's the thing. We didn't call and ask him about the other stuff.
I want to hear
Well,
the
So
We
conversation.
don't
we
need
didn't.
Some
Jonathan. What do you? If you want to just say you hate the guy, you hate everything about him, then just say that,
That's
right?
not true. That's not
But it
true.
is. But it is.
No, no, Cindy, this is
So
journalism. Cindy, what we're doing is
okay, we're doing
wait,
journalism exactly.
this happened
But we
today. This happened
lean.
today.
But
We
we
just happened
lean.
today.
But your journalism leans one way. It doesn't. You never
C-
go in the middle here. So let's try to. If we're gonna
Cindy,
have journalism,
Cindy, I haven't
can
given
we
my
have
opinion.
journalism that maybe there's a reason? Let's try to
Cindy,
put our brains in this guy's brain and try
yeah,
to figure out what's his end game here. That's
okay,
what I would like people's opinions.
absolutely. But Cindy, you know
What
what?
We're not
is
I'm tell you
the end
something.
disagreeing. That's the whole
game?
Cindy,
problem. You
Cindy, if we
have no
play the
opinion.
recording
There's
back,
no
you know
opinion
people going to
without
hear?
clarity. And we
One mic.
know that
Can you guys
as United
get rid of that person that's talking right now? Can you guys just get rid of her? Thank you. All right. So Cindy, here's the deal, Cindy. I never spoke my position on this. All I did was report the news. I
Okay.
I didn't give not one position on that. And if we go back and listen to the recording, they're going to say, "Wow, that woman Cindy got upset because all he did was report the news. I didn't tell you how I felt about it.
Okay, well, I'm
I didn't tell you."
sorry. I didn't know you became a reporter in the last year, but
No,
it's
no.
okay. I'm
All I
going to
said,
call you a journalist now
no, Cindy,
because you're
Cindy,
now a
no,
journalist.
Cindy. What I'm saying to you is, I didn't give an opinion at all. All I did was report the facts.
You report them and then you go right along with them
No, I didn't
instead
go.
of
Well,
trying.
Well,
instead of trying.
Cindy, you're supposed to go along with the facts. I'm not. I didn't give
I'm
you an
not.
opinion
No,
yet.
no, I don't live my life like that. See, I try to figure out
No,
where.
but no, Cindy.
Yeah, I want to know where my enemy's coming from at all times.
But
I
Cindy,
want to
but you,
see
but you,
where
but
you coming from.
but Cindy, but this is Cindy. But I gave facts. I didn't give any opinion yet.
Okay, but you do give opinions, but that's okay.
Yeah, but I didn't give an opinion on this
Yeah,
yet, though.
okay. All right, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not a journalist, okay? I'm a
Okay, let's
developer
do it.
builder, right? So I'm not a journalist. But can
You're a
anybody kind of
citizen
see?
journalist. You're definitely
No,
a citizen journalist.
let me ask you a question. Can somebody just pull the drapes behind and tell me what the Wizard of Oz is doing? Like, what is he doing? What do you think his game plan is here? Because I really don't know. I'm asking a question to the room, to you.
I have a journalism
May I
degree,
speak,
Of course
please?
you do.
and well, I
Okay.
do.
Okay. You have many degrees, but at the
I
end of
have
the day,
one magazine journalism.
okay.
But
Thank
if you want the answer to the question, I
Please. Yeah,
can't believe you
I
guys
would
have.
like an answer to that one
Okay,
question. Then I'll go to bed.
need 30 seconds without you interrupting, please. You haven't noticed, and it's funny they got y'all talking about Harvard, but there's some shit going on around the world right now. I'll give you a couple things that happened this week. Some professor from China brought in some fungus that could take out a bunch of stuff we need to eat. Didn't
No,
really
he
do
could
it.
have killed
Oh,
everybody, but go ahead.
oh my God. You almost made it 30 seconds without
Okay, I'm
interrupting. You
just
made it to
agreeing with you on that
27.
one. I'm just agreeing with you on that one. Go ahead.
What was two?
What's the matter? You can't
Yeah.
handle it when I agree with you?
No, I got the fucking ADD, and then when you
I'm
interrupt,
sorry, then put a pen next to you. I've menopause brain. Go ahead.
okay, well, just make your comments on mute. All right, here we go. Israel today had a new friend bomb them, maybe by the country named Syria. Also, this week, Ukraine did some fucking crazy shit, like almost as good as the pager incident that Israel pulled off, and bombed one of their bridges. And Trump made a tweet today saying he talked to President Putin on the phone for a while, and then he deleted it. A little bit later, you get all these countries listed on lists that, a lot of them seem like maybe to side with Iran or China or just kind of in the middle. Not sure. I think he's protecting our country right now because I think, sadly, shit might be about to go down. Russia has assured that there will be a response for what they did, and I think he's kind of
Are
locking
you
up the
trying
doors.
to say, Bart, look over here so we're not looking over there?
No, ma'am. I'm trying to
Oh,
say I think the fucking world's about to go shit. Iran, Russia, maybe some war in the Middle East, and he's locking down the fucking country. He saw this shit coming from China that they tried to sneak in. Nobody's even fucking talking about that. There's a bunch of crazy shit going on. I really think when I saw this, because I'd kind of be like, whoa, when he deleted that tweet, that tells me something. Like, and
It
then
tells you he tweeted something he shouldn't have.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
gee,
Yeah, he shouldn't
now,
have tweeted that.
if you're gonna look at it like a simple liberal, yeah, definitely.
well,
But if you look,
if you delete something, then you obviously either were told to take it down or it was a lie. I can let's call it what it is, okay? You don't put up something then take it down if it's not factual or I don't know. I really can't. At this point,
No,
you're asking me to
Cindy,
think like another
all
human
right,
being, and I
take the
can't.
tweet argument out of it. All right,
Cindy, the tweet.
let's
Hold on
just
one
hit
second.
another thing.
I want to address Cindy. Cindy, the tweet was taken down because what he did was he took Putin's threat and he put it out to the world. He delivered to Putin's threat to Ukraine, and that's never been done by a president. So he delivered a threat to Ukraine as the sitting United States president from Putin.
So you're
I
saying
think
that
we.
Trump is Putin's Betty boy? Is that what you're saying, Jonathan? Hmm.
Mm.
Interesting.
Bang, but
Do
Putin
we have a
immediately
problem with
said
that?
there's going to
So,
be
No.
responses
And
all
Barth,
over
did
the
you just
news.
say that you think there's wars going on in the Middle East? How insightful of you. I mean, has anyone
That's
else
not
ever
what I
heard that?
We know
said.
there's wars
Oh my
going on there.
goodness.
That's not what I said. You see some of the countries on that fucking list, genius?
Yes, because I can read.
Are they involved? in any wars right now, but
You
at
think
any
that
time can they
Togo
be? Has
and
Syria ever
Eritrea,
sent a bomb into Israel
you think
until
that
today?
Togo is involved in a
Not
war with
necessarily, but you know
you?
what? Their
Okay,
borders
but you
aren't
just
locked
you
down, and
just said,
maybe
did you see those countries on that list,
Lee,
Marty? Well, is Togo involved in a war with Russia or not? Do you even know where
you're not
Togo
look.
is?
See, you're
No, the
not.
fuck you
Yep.
don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yep. Yep.
can't
Yep. Yep.
look
Yep.
deep
No. No. No.
enough.
No. 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 No.
Go
No. No.
ahead.
No. No. No.
All right,
We're
I'm
going.
done. I'm
Wait.
done.
Wait. Wait. No, we're going down a path that
Okay,
we're not going down. Debate the news.
I
Nope.
apologize.
You guys. No. 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 Not much. Guys. Once again. All right. So anyway. So yeah. So anyway, the 12 countries. And the 12 countries are from the Middle East, Africa, and the Caribbean. All right. All 12 countries are from Middle East, Africa, and the Caribbean. So that's what Trump did. You guys are saying he's shutting the country down. The tweet that he put out garnered a lot of criticism, and I guess if he took it down, because they were saying that pretty much he was carrying Putin's water by delivering that message to Ukraine and the world. He delivered that message to the world that there will be severe consequences. So,
So,
so there you go.
John, Jonathan. Oh, can I say something real quick?
Let's go. Yep, go ahead. Let's go.
Okay, so I was gonna say I am someone who hates Donald Trump, thinks he's a racist piece of shit, but I actually kind of agree with the travel ban. I think some of these countries like are it's an appropriate security concern to be like, hey, like Haiti, Chad, Eritrea, whatever. These countries don't have developed processes for us to vet even the candidates that are coming in legally. How are we supposed to continue to take these people? Like Haiti doesn't even have a functional government at this point that can control the country. So I do think that it is a valid concern to be importing or bringing people in from those countries. And then the second thing is like countries like Venezuela, et cetera, whatever. These are countries that are refusing to take back some of the illegal migrants that the America is trying to get rid of. So I think that it's an appropriate retaliatory response to ban some of these countries. And also, like some of these countries are hostile to America. Why the fuck should we take your people if you are hostile to this country? So Trump may be a piece of shit, but I think in this case he's actually right. I'm done.
Well said. Who was that? Sound like a new speaker. I just want to know the
Oh,
name.
it's Mother Superior.
You know how many countries are
No,
hostile?
speak,
Like
Me?
please.
Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Wasn't Saudi Arabia hostile and killed Khashoggi and literally funded terrorists? But what was Donald Trump and Kushner doing? Didn't Donald Trump literally do live golf with Saudi Arabia? So how does that work? Would Saudi Arabia not be at the top of that list? Just asking for a friend. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
one
speak,
hundred
please.
Mm.
percent. I think it's. I'm so glad you said that.
Add him to the list. I don't care.
No, see, your mic is horrible. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Can I have a chance, please?
Go ahead.
Well, Jonathan, thank you, and everybody in the stage and the listeners. Thank you for giving me this chance to join you. I hope you all be patient till I finish, so don't interrupt me, please. First, let me start with the job corps thing. Not all people are privileged, and also people are different. Some people love this and others love that, and you cannot just force all people to do certain things because you think it's better for them from your point of view. So having this kind of education is important for their lives, learning a skill that can allow them to make a living instead of going the other way of illegal activities. You know, having them at the end incarcerated and wasted in those prisons. Also, you know, regarding Harvard, the idea is not Harvard or any other university, whether it's Columbia or whatever. The idea is, do Trump and his administration have the right to intervene with those universities' policies as general? Not to mention the ugly way they are doing it right now. The answer is definitely no. On the other hand, Harvard doesn't get the huge amount of money for their legacy, but for the amount of the enormous researches and projects they are doing, that are unarguably have benefited America and the whole universe. Just click on their websites and see yourself uh, about what happened in Columbia University is not justified, as protesting is not violence itself unless it's turned into violence, which could have dealt with it legally targeting the individuals who committed that as solitary incidents. But what's happening right now there is absolutely wrong and doesn't represent America. Anyway, Harvard seems to go in complete compliance with Trump administration now because money talks. The other thing I want to talk about is the banning of people in my country, Sudan, especially, where people are suffering excruciatingly painful civil war and have zero records of any danger to America throughout the history of this country, while people from South Africa and Ukraine or whatever are highly welcome, reflecting a discriminative and racist act, in my point of view, as all these banned countries, they don't have the bribery ability of other nations with trillions of dollars and fancy airplanes. Finally, I believe Trump is destroying this country from the roots with what he's doing, which is exactly what is happening in our failed countries in Africa and Middle East, where people are silenced. Running after lawyers and law firms, firing judges and arresting them is a shame and a disgrace. I've never thought this would happen in America, where Americans are afraid to speak up their minds. Otherwise, they are going to be fired or have people abducted from streets, researchers and scientists locked up in detention centers and sent overseas without due process. Double standard, I think, is sickening. Thank you for this chance.
All right, and you're from what, Sudan or
I'm
South
from
Sudan?
Sudan. I don't believe in separation. Separation is a reality, but actually from North Sudan. But I worked in South Sudan during wartime, before the separation, and I worked also in Darfur during wartime. And here I am. And my family displaced to Egypt in the last couple
Are
of
you
years.
currently in Sudan still?
Pardon? No, they are
Are you
displaced
currently
to
in
Egypt.
Sudan?
All my family are in Egypt right now.
Okay. All right.
I
No, I
thought you
got
didn't believe in separation. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
it. All right. So yeah. So getting back. So Sudan is on the list. Okay. So Sudan is on the list, and one of the things that when we say Sudan is on the list, what stands out about that is South Sudan is they definitely need to be able to get asylum. But once again, guys, we sit here. Um, Once again, these are the shithole countries that Trump has. Not one European countries on that list. All right. They're all from the Middle East, Africa, and the Caribbean, and so that's very concerning, you know. And the fact that Cuba uh, the Cuban community supports Trump heavily. They're on the list, and Venezuela's on the list as well. And a lot of those Venezuelans supported Trump. They thought that he was only going after the illegal criminals, and they believed it. And the Venezuelan people voted heavily for the Trump administration as well. So that's something that is also on the list. I mean, so guys, I'm just sitting here. You guys think that this is gonna make us safer? I just think that it once again, there's just so many other countries that I think should have been on that list if this is about making America safe. Okay, uh, so I don't know. So and these are countries that he spoke not too fondly of prior to getting in office. So with that, we have that as well. So anyone wants to jump in on that because it's just to me, it's just mighty convenient. That's all. I land.
Yeah,
Is
actually,
Russia part of those countries?
if we look at those who committed the heinous crime of 9/11, most of them were from Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. Uh, the big sponsor of terrorism is Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait, and of course Saudi Arabia. So those are the ones should be banned. But of course, he collected 5.1 trillion from them, so they pay their way out. Sudan does not represent any form of threat, past or present. Same even with Libya. Has the largest oil reserve in Africa, and there is no history of any violent. So this clearly has a political agenda behind it. And how about other countries where they have gangs? Vietnam, Philippines, and many other countries. So the list is carefully selected for reasons other than safety. That's so obvious, and it's politically motivated.
All right, good stuff. Anyone wants to jump in this because
And one more
it's
thing
12.
about the
Go ahead.
I'm a medical scientist. The war against the institutions of higher learning is shameful and disgrace. Harvard is older than the Constitution, is older than this country. It's nearly 380 years. If you take Harvard graduates, if we were a country, we would be the third largest economy. That's how the contributions of an institution like Harvard, Columbia, Princeton, there is really no justification, none whatsoever. If you
What's a
attack the
medical
medical,
scientist? Is there like a non-medical scientist? Is
well,
there like
there
a
is different.
finance
There is
scientist?
There's RFK.
medical scientists is specifically for medical research, but those who suffer the most are researchers and scientists. And look at the list of research that has been stopped in very complicated terminal illness, cancer, cardiovascular disease, infectious disease. And it's not just Harvard. If you take those institutions, there is no United States. That's what sets us apart: research, ingenuity, and scientific contributions.
Can we say hi to the cat? Meow. He's
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
hello. Is
The
that? I'm
cat,
sorry.
he does not like me talking in the. He always,
Oh, I think he likes me though.
Yeah.
Ah.
So anyway, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 12. The 12 countries are like I said. So anyway, there's no European countries there.
actually, the list is more
All right.
than 12.
Uh,
There are different categories. The list is almost 22, but the
yeah.
12,
Well, it's
those are
22
like,
with the partial ban. Yes.
yeah, those are complete restrictions. But there are much more to the list than those 12
Actually,
countries.
it's 19. Sorry about that. Seven partially banned. 19.
All right,
It's
can I say
19.
something?
Okay. All right. Anyway, so yeah. So with that being said, folks, yeah, it's like, come on. When you look at this, and earlier tonight when I brought up Linda McMahon, anyone have a chance to find out what Linda McMahon said today?
Oh my goodness. Where she said she didn't know who Ruby Bridges was or that Harvard should hire more Republicans.
No, they've been saying that. That's no. They were talking about Black history, and she said she didn't know whether or not if teaching Black history was legal under Trump's anti DEI. And then she said, if you're going to teach Black history, you're going to have to teach the other side of it as well. So, so she said you're going to have to teach the other side of it as well.
Oh, can I give it a try, Jonathan?
No, no, no,
Hi.
no, 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 no,
Why
no.
can
I
I
don't want you
give
to give
it
it
a
a try.
try?
No,
I'm a
absolutely not.
good American citizen.
That's
I
a
want to give the perspective from the other
no,
side.
no, because I'm trying to have a serious conversation. You want to have a serious conversation?
I'm
You can
being
jump in.
serious,
Okay,
Jonathan. It's an
let's hear it.
intellectual pursuit. Okay, thank you.
Jonathan, can
Hi,
I?
my name is Miss Flotilla Landstrom. And a couple of hundred years ago, Big Daddy came and told me that we had to let all the niggers go free. And
No,
I
no, no,
was
no,
like,
no, no,
Big
no,
Daddy,
no, 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 no,
what?
no,
That's
no,
not the
no,
other
no, no,
side?
no, 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 no.
Dang, Jonathan.
Nope, nope, nope. Guys, anyone, it's a very
Funny.
sensitive
I like
subject, and I
that.
was trying to figure out how to
It
bring
made
it
me
up.
feel she was right on point.
I was trying to figure out how to bring it up without like going left. Anyone wants to speak to that?
Well, what
Because
is the other side of Black history? I'm confused. Like going into
I
heaven, the
don't
other
know either.
side.
I don't know either. But this is Linda McMahon. This is her words, not mine. And so and I don't know what the other side represents and looks like. And I think the reporter asked her that question, like, "What is the other side of Black history?" And she paused. I'm gonna see if I can get that recording. All right.
Would be similar to that of like Germany not teaching, their children about what happened. Um, I mean, with the Holocaust. I mean, that's the reality is that what she was essentially said, and it's really disgusting. And I don't even want to comment any further because I couldn't believe she said it.
Can I make a point about the 12 countries?
Go ahead.
Did you take any more notes from any previous conversation topics? I just want to prepare myself. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm channeling my inner conservative today.
Yep.
My
So
apologies,
No,
Jonathan.
anyway, the guy that's wanted to go ahead to speak about the 12 countries. Go ahead.
yeah, thanks. Hi, everybody. I'm originally from Iran. I live here in the U.S. and I'm a citizen. Um, so I'm still trying to figure out because I don't know. I'm I'm still Iranian citizen, so I don't know if I go outside the U.S. I could get in trouble. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. But the point I want to make here was I wanted to add a perspective to this that what's really common amongst those countries is they're non-Western and mostly Muslim. So the travel ban on 12 countries is said to be done about national security, but it shows support for Western civilization values, which I get to that. I think that's something that is behind the MAGA movement. I see a broader movement of reviving the Western civilization. Most of the banned countries are non-Western and mostly Muslim. That suggests a culture divide. So if it's all about safety, there could be other countries that could be banned, but they're not on the list. The ban talks about keeping out people with hostile attitudes toward American values, which ties into the idea of protecting Western identity, not just safety. So I wanted to add this to the views. I mean, we're asking why these 12 countries and not others that might be hostile and and threaten our security. I feel like there's a little bit of that going on right now, and Trump is trying to appeal to that portion of the MAGA movement that are really care about Western civilization and reviving that, and they're thinking that the country is becoming, um, non-Western, and people from other countries, specifically Muslims, are coming to the U.S. and instead of getting dissolved in the Western culture, quote unquote, they're bringing their own culture and trying to change the country. So we should stop that. So I see a little bit of that there. Just wanted to share.
All right. Sorry about that. I was listening to that article that I'm going to play. But no, 100%, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else from CH wants to jump in? Anyone else over on CH want to jump in? All right, good. All right, guys. So the 12 countries once again. I listed that. We have that on the board. We have Harvard on the board as well. Uh, I'm trying to get that video because she asked about whether teaching the Holocaust DEI, and she said no, it's not. And then she said, "Is well, what about teaching African American history?" Then she goes, she can answer, and then she goes, "Well, what are you even talking about? You can't have one without the other. They're both the same thing." And so, basically, I don't get that, and that's what she said that you have to teach both sides of African American. You can't just teach one side of it. So it is pretty. It was pretty brutal what happened there. So I just want to make sure you guys get that. Any guys? Also, Elon Musk is at war with the administration on this bill. All right, Elon Musk tweeted out. He's been tweeting a lot. Okay, and he posted a picture of Uma Thurman in the Kill Bill outfit, saying "Kill Bill, kill the Bill," and he's been going really hard. This looks like it could get really ugly because Donald Trump doesn't play nice when someone gets in the way of something that he wants. All right, as Harvard's witnessing right now, as everyone else that has tried to stand up to him has witnessed. So Elon Musk right now is like really going all in on this bill. He wants this bill dead,
Go
and
Elon, go
I think
Elon.
he can buy. I believe he can buy enough support to cause some considerable changes to happen with this bill.
Rock and roll,
So
Yakima.
that's what let's put that out there. Go ahead. Who's that trying to jump in? There was someone trying to talk while I was speaking. All right. So anyone wants to jump in? Anyone wants to jump in on this? Because I think this right here, you have two big, I guess, megalomaniacs. They both want different things at this point. Elon wants this bill done, dead. Trump needs this bill. All right, the Republicans need this bill. They have passed no legislation. Okay, this is going to be the big, beautiful bill that's going to accomplish a whole bunch of legislation. But guys, right now, um, they're saying 2.4. Other estimates put it at 3 something $trillion, but they believe that the real numbers are somewhere around over $5 trillion. But they're trying to sell it to us as a 2.4 trillion. All right, our ratings. Okay, our credit rating. We lost our last A plus credit rate, triple A credit rating. Um, just not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, as a result of the fact that our deficit is the way it is. And they're not doing anything to reduce the deficit. They're only trying to grow the deficit. They're cutting a lot of programs that regular Americans can need and use, such as Medicaid, SNAP, Job Corps, a whole bunch of different things. They're cutting all those programs, uh, and they're passing this bill to increase spending and also giving tax cuts to the wealthy. Welcome to America, folks.
Go Elon, go Elon. I believe that actually it's nice. This is going to be really interesting. The shit show. It's only going to get it's going to get, yeah, Elon is, I mean, there's more to this than we will ever probably ever know. But it's nice to see Elon standing up a bit. And I actually, personally, whether or not you guys hate me or not, I think that Elon, whether or not he's doing all these drugs and touching our federal government data, which is nuts, I do believe that Elon actually might have he has more power than Trump, and I do believe that his stance is is going to kill the bill.
I disagree. He doesn't have more power than Trump. He has some influence, but he definitely doesn't have more power than Trump. Um, so I think Elon's being selfish. Okay, I think he's being very selfish. He's doing this because this bill hurts him, hurts his companies. So I think he's at his own self interest. Elon isn't um, someone that's out there that's known to care about the average citizen. So I though I agree that this bill should be killed. I just think it's crazy that he leaves the White House and immediately this he goes after this bill.
But Elon got what he wanted. He got the cases against him dismissed, and he got all the data. So Elon got what he wanted. So I believe that he's the one of the true power. I mean, I must be honest because he wanted to be able to actually, fly these rockets up every couple of weeks. You know, the FAA had these cases against him because of, you know, his rockets blowing up, and they had to actually deviate the planes. So there's those cases were all dropped. So I know he's mad about the EV, but I don't necessarily agree that. I really do think that Elon actually, you know, his position, whether or not the bill is big or beautiful, it can't be both, is a fact. And I do think that he does. This is going to be very interesting on how this pans out.
I think it's as simple as playing both sides of the fence.
What do you mean?
Well, he obviously was tied in very strong with the Republicans and Trump there for quite some time. He knows he needs to back off of that a little bit and get some favor, uh, buy some favor, however you want to put it, from some of the other folks on the other side. So he's got companies to run. He's got favors he needs in the future from some of the people on both sides of the fence. So he's going to play the other side for a while.
Again, so I believe that he carries more power than Trump because Trump needs him. I mean, for money to get people reelected, because this shit shows, you know, at some point it's going to end.
Yeah, good stuff there. No, no, guys, it's a lot. I definitely want to talk more about Elon and that bill. Don Juan, are you here? Don Juan. Is Don Juan here, folks? All right, all right. So, I guess let's see here. No, Don Juan is not here. All right. No, I
Do you
definitely
want me
want.
to give another shot at the other side, Jonathan?
No, not at all.
Okay, I
I'll
was just
pass.
asking, you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
but no. What do you think about Elon? Why get Don Juan? What do you think? What do you think about Elon?
Well, first I'm wondering why that other lady keeps saying Elon. It sounds weird, like an elongated lawn or like an Elon. I'm sorry, y'all. I have really bad jokes tonight. Bear with me. I think that Elon is definitely gaining traction as only the wealthiest man in the world can. He's now retweeting Rand Paul, some other Republican representatives, and I think that we've kind of unleashed a beast. He's had a taste of the federal government and that kind of power, and I don't think that we're going to pull him away from politics just that quickly. And my concern is, what if he decides to run for president or something? They're going to vote that sucker in. So I think he's more dangerous than he
He's
was
not allowed to
before.
run for president. He wasn't. He's not a natural born citizen.
So far, but we never would have thought that the president of the United States said that Columbia wasn't an accredited university. I think that he could definitely be the man in the smoke filled room. He definitely put up a Manchurian candidate. And I think that he could change American politics. He already has, in a way, right? Going after federal agencies that are against him. I don't think we've seen this kind of power and influence, maybe
They're
since the
not going to
Tammany
change
Hall
that.
days, in my opinion. So I'm concerned, and I will stand on what I said about 4 or 5 years ago. I really think that Elon Musk is Lex Luthor. He does not really like humanity. He thinks that humans are inefficient, and he wants to populate the earth with robots. So
Okay,
that's
so
what I think about
I,
Elon.
if Trump can run for a third time, then so can Obama. And why couldn't Musk run as well?
I
Wait,
think
wait. Yeah,
hang on.
where did we veer off? Where did we veer off to fiction?
What?
Well, actually, when Miki spoke, I was just thinking, Trump, well, Elon has a lot of kids, and he's definitely got underground bunkers. And if there was some kind of nuclear war and massive extinction, like he would be populating. His crowd probably would be number one for surviving and populating the new Earth. So I went off into left field in this in my own way too, with Miki's comment because it was kind of it made me think about the future, and the power he has right with his boring tunnels everywhere. It's like okay, Elon's got the setup. If there's nuclear war, he's good. He's set, and whoever's with him is set, and all his kids that are going to populate the new Earth if there's an issue with nukes in America, or around the world, yeah,
And he has
Elon will
Musk
be the
has
next
all
You
generation
know,
yeah.
of
I think
space family.
GA said it really well the other day when this was brought up. He said that Trump's not going to be on the ticket as president, but as vice president, and Vance would be running, and that's how we would get in. And I hadn't thought about that, so it terrified me. I don't know what anyone thinks about that,
Well,
Uh,
and
but
Musk has a really big
No,
following
no,
with the
no,
younger
no
generation.
president, no one that wins the presidency will just walk away and give it to someone else. No, they
Well,
wouldn't
I
do
the
it.
agree.
reason, well, Musk
They
got
wouldn't do it.
Trump in
Uh,
office. That is, I believe, 110% a fact. The reason why Trump ended up getting
Oh
over
yeah.
the goal line is because of Musk. There's no question, and that's, I mean, that's in my viewpoint, and I say that very with strength. That is why. So that is real, and that's why this is going to be very interesting. Because if it wasn't for Musk, I'm not sure he would have won. Period.
Oh, come
But
on. Jeez.
JB, you know about, because we mentioned dark enlightenment in a room in here. I think Kalisha did that, and Musk and Teal are part of the PayPal mafia. Like
yeah,
we know that Teal is behind JD Vance, and pretty much because didn't he go to Harvard or Yale or something? He went
Yale,
to one of
Yeah.
those,
yeah, Yale, Yale.
right? So you would think the Yale guys would be like, maybe they're going to come for me, but I don't know. All of this, these are
You're
very
not talking
intelligent
about that
people.
many people. They didn't influence
Donald
him.
Trump is not. I'm just saying that money talks in this world, and both of these men together are have already been extremely influential. Musk is just more of the, I'm going to tweet about it. Teal is much more a dangerous, subversive type person. It's just a concern. That's all. Like the data that they have, the reach that they have, the influence, the wealth. It's just a little scary. That's all. When government is supposed to be for the people. How would a
Well,
candidate
focus on
ever
some positive
funded by
things
these
about it
two
until
ever,
you have
like
proof.
overcome the amount of money? Look at here, you child of ADHD with no medication. I know you hear the sound of my voice. You know what? Let me hush because I'm supposed to be being good. Go ahead and talk since you wanted to talk so bad. Go ahead. Well, I don't want to finish anymore, so you might as
Sorry about
well.
that. I was talking. I'm so sorry about that. No, yeah. I wanted Don Juan. I guess Don Juan's not here. Don Juan has a show that he does every day on this app, and they sit in there, and it's the Diddy trial room, and they go over every aspect of the trial as it's happening, as they get feedback from the courtroom, transcripts from the courtroom. They go over it, and they've been discussing that for a while. So, if you guys ever want to hear anything about the Diddy trial, you guys are on this app. Make sure you guys tap in with Don Juan's room because he definitely does a great job. Don Juan, you want to tell him about your room? Are you able to tell him about your room real quick?
Yeah, I can. 1 second, man.
Yeah. So you guys, and so they put they have the YouTube going. They get the information directly from the courtroom as it's happening. I've been going in it for the past couple of days, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting, and they're able to talk about it on a stage. They're able to talk about it in chat, and they're able to listen to the different perspective from all the legal people and the other people that's covering the trial. So Don Juan does that every day, folks. Every day that the trial's going. So Don Juan, let me know when you're ready to tell
Yeah,
them.
I'm ready, man. Yeah, I'm ready. First of all, I
Okay.
appreciate the shout out, man. I appreciate the shout out, and I appreciate a lot of you guys in here that comes in there. But yeah, man, we just signed it up or hooked it up to where we can do it every day from day one. Tomorrow will be on day number 17 or 16 of yeah, no, day 17 tomorrow. Yeah, and it's really dope, you guys. We really just sit there and there's a guy who just commentates it for us. He reads the transcripts of court from Inner City Press. And just what JB said, we sit there, we narrate it, we're in the comments, we pause it every now and again and give perspectives. And then at the lunch break, we go to Law and Crime, and Mr. Jesse himself comes on and commentates what we didn't get the chance to see because he has someone inside the courtroom and gives us even better perspective. And then we ended with the testimony audio from the day before. So it's pretty dope. You guys should check it out. I've definitely been enjoying JB coming in the past couple of days. It's been super dope having him in there. And again, a lot of you guys in here now. do being there with us, and I definitely appreciate you guys for hanging out, making the space really conducive and dope. And appreciate the time, JB. Thank you.
No problem.
Can you give
Mook,
us
are
a
you there,
little?
Mook?
Can you give us an update on what's going on?
Yeah, that's an action. Some can you or Mook give us an update on what's going on in that case?
Yeah, I'm here, but I haven't been. I haven't been in the room this morning. I haven't catch up yet, so
Okay,
can't give you
yeah.
an update tonight.
And does anyone have an update on that case? Anyone have an update? What's going on with that case?
It doesn't have to be from today. I haven't heard anything for like a week.
Yeah. Your mic is
I
really
just
bad.
know that this girl named Brianna testified, and she's the one who's been hunted in the balcony. You remember when Cassie talked about seeing a girl being hung in the balcony by Diddy, and she testified that she has been SA'd by Diddy in the balcony. So that is as far as I know so far from today. And I know that tomorrow is the one that I'm looking for the most because Enrique Santos is set to testify. He is the president, I believe, of iHeart Latino. So he's set to testify tomorrow after I believe, the examination of Brianna is set to be done. So that's all I know so far.
Okay, get stuff there, guys. Get stuff there. So, guys, listen to me. If you want to stay up to date on that trial, make sure you guys. And what club is that under, Don Juan?
It's under the Hangover Lounge.
The Hangover Lounge, guys. The Hangover Lounge. All right. Make sure you guys are following the Hangover Lounge. Go in there. You guys, listen to me. Even if you're not Diddy fans, they're gonna make it pretty damn interesting for you. All right. If you're not fans of the case, they're gonna make it very damn interesting for you. All right. So there it is. All right. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it, guys. So, guys, the floor is open right now. Harvard. Harvard University is fighting the great fight. I think Donald Trump's going to lose this one against Harvard. Uh, Definitely going to lose this one against Harvard. They're trying to pull the accreditation for Columbia. Oh my gosh, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. And so once again, guys, whoa, neglect. Uh, President Biden's press secretary. All right. First black female press secretary and the first openly gay press secretary. Um, she, Karine Jean Pierre, is leaving the Democratic Party, and becoming an independent. Okay. So once again, uh, she has a book coming out too, by the way, guys. And once again, I what she's leaving. She's leaving, and that says a lot, you know. So just want to put that out there. That's out there as well. I don't know. It's something that you reported, Mickey. Did you read anything as to why she was leaving?
Yeah, it wasn't really that clear, and I didn't know that she was, she went the other way. Like, dang, she's pretty. I mean, I'm not interested, but
Yeah,
wow,
you like
okay,
she
I
went the
didn't
other
know.
way. She's pretty. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, like, dang, okay, I didn't know that she would be really celebrating Pride Month. So shout out to Pride Month. So,
Taste the rainbow.
hey, don't you know what? It's 11:49. Y'all got 11 minutes. No, JB, I did not. I think that is probably just to get her in the news before she releases her book, which is generally how that goes, right? Now we're all talking about her. And, so she had to add a little razzle dazzle in there. But either that or she's getting ready to run for office. And she doesn't want to be seen as like attached with Biden and maybe accused of hiding, that she, all of the things with his cognitive ability. So that's what I would give a gander at. But they have questioned her about it, but nothing that seemed too solid about why she decided to make this decision. So I hope she sells some more books, though. Good for her. Dating a woman is very expensive, as you fellas know, right? Holla.
No,
I'm sorry, y'all.
no. They're saying that she's doing it for attention. and that even when she served in a role as press secretary, she used to joke around about leaving and becoming a becoming an independent. So that
I think she did a
that
really
is
good
something.
job, though. I
Excuse
mean,
me.
I think she speaks very well. I mean, compared to Carolyn Levitt, okay, that's all I have to say. I think she actually is very articulate, and if she were running, good for her. And if she's coming
Oh
out with a book,
no,
well, it's better than Carolyn Levitt. I mean,
Oh dear,
that's all I have to
dear,
say.
dear,
articulate,
dear.
articulate. Here we go.
No, I'm in a good mood tonight. I'm tired.
No, I know, but articulate. Here we
So, do
go.
you guys like? Do you guys think? Do you like Carolyn Levitt? I mean, I guess I'm asking you candidly.
No, it's the articulate word. It's the articulate word.
Okay, okay, sorry. My apologies.
I found
What?
something, JB. It says in her upcoming book, which is literally titled Independent. Wow, okay. A look inside a broken White House outside the party lines. She shares, quote unquote, why Americans must step beyond party lines to embrace life as an independent. So I guess she really did have to tell everybody she was independent since that's the name of her book. It's giving, here's a reason to read my book, even if you're a MAGA or a Republican. But go ahead and mark it, girl. Do whatever you got to do.
Miss Independence.
Why she couldn't find out something that that made her like look at this thing differently? It says inside the broken White House. So I mean,
Oh.
The guy, she was talking about it, and then she named her book that. So she was going to do this all along, and it's perfect timing for her book. And she was joking around about it, and everyone thinks this is a grift, as I guess one of the former officials said of her book project. Um, yeah,
what if she talks
Well,
about Sleepy Joe being incapacitated in the White House and how she wasn't really getting her information directly from Joe or she was something like that? What if she talks about that stuff?
yes, now this will actually be interesting. She takes us through the 3 weeks that led to Biden's abandoning his bid for a second term and the betrayal by the Democratic Party that led to his decision. So it sounds like she was pro Joe, which is interesting. So, huh. I didn't know her resume that she also worked during the Obama Biden administration. Interesting. So maybe she's going to reveal some truths like, did Nancy Pelosi send an email and say, Joe, you got to step down? Because we all know that Pelosi was not a fan of Kamala, and there was a lot of talk just to, oh, if we can all go back to that period, that weren't they floating around too, y'all? That JB, do you remember that? That Obama was also not a fan of Kamala being the nominee. So, maybe we'll get some tea there, y'all. Maybe so.
I think Obama was a fan. I don't. But I did hear that, but I took that for what it was worth.
Maybe not a fan of Biden. I'm confusing them because some people were supposed to be more pro Biden and then more pro Kamala, but I can't remember. But that's what she's saying the book is going to be about, the betrayal of Joe Biden, the betrayal of the Democratic Party. Interesting.
Quite interesting to have a press secretary, not even 6 months out of office, abandon the Democratic Party, become an independent. I don't know what she's doing,
No,
but
she's like the new Bernie Sanders. Like
but she's never gonna work. She's never gonna get real work again. Hopefully, his book sells enough to support her,
no, she'll be fine. She's a smart cookie. Without question, she'll be fine. Like that's
and articulate, right? All
She
right,
speaks
guys.
well. She speaks very well.
she does. She does, and she also. She's very pretty as well. She speaks very well, and she speaks with truth and facts, which is different than the current press person.
Okay.
Trick bag.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, let me just say this to you, okay, Colleen. um, yeah, people of color don't like when you call them articulate, and you say they speak well. Okay, are you there?
Okay, okay. Yes,
And just
I hear
enlightening you
you.
there. All right, because that you never hear them say, "Oh, this person non of color, that they speak very well or that they're articulate." You never hear that.
I don't know what's wrong with me saying
Did
that,
you
but I
just say
just
that was
act because
enlightening,
she really
Jonathan?
is.
Huh?
That you were enlightening her by telling her that?
It's not
Yeah. Well,
enlightening. It's just the look. She's a bright. She will be fine. Like she actually spoke very well. She's a pretty lady, and I
ay,
didn't know
ay,
that
ay.
she. I didn't
Trippy.
know a lot of this about
That's what everybody
Jonathan, which
said
is really
about
fun.
Michelle Obama.
Ay, ay, ay. She says she speaks well again. Once
That
again,
voice sounds familiar on CH. Who is that?
Colleen.
You know who it
Colleen.
is.
Why aren't you over here?
I tried to get on Chatter, but I couldn't. I can't find the room. Sorry. I mean,
Yeah,
I told a couple
yeah,
other
What
yeah.
do you
people.
Colleen,
mean
come
you
over.
can't find the room?
I couldn't
Colleen,
find
you
it. Like
definitely could.
I've joined it since then, and I tried to do it, and I was telling the moderators that I couldn't find it because I think I sound better on. I don't know what is going on with my. I don't have my headsets on, but I tried anyway. So I tried to
Yeah,
ask you. I can't find the room.
Click
I,
discover.
yeah, I definitely want you over here because you speak very well.
You're so messy.
You're real articulate.
Yeah, you're real
And you're
articulate.
Full
worse. And
circle.
you're
I
worse.
love it. Full circle. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's hilarious.
I say we make that tomorrow's topic. Why not? I just saw
Articulation.
no. I just saw the video of McMahon and
Can you
what
play that?
was
Can you
the
play that?
name?
Can you play that
Yeah,
when
yeah,
she
yeah.
said that Black History you have to teach both sides, and when she
Okay.
spoke about the yeah, when she spoke about
No,
that.
no. I say we do it tomorrow. I say
No,
we make
we
that
got
the
no,
hot
because
topic.
I don't want to know. Tomorrow's gonna be probably a special day, and I don't want to bring race into it. but yeah, let's bring it. Yeah, let's do that because the woman Linda McMahon, she spoke very well. She's very articulate, and
Linda McMahon's very articulate. Okay, I got it now. That's hilarious. I love it. That's funny.
all right. So guys, while we're waiting for
actually,
Diana,
Jonathan, I don't think it's funny what she said today at all. So that's the thing. I found it disgusting. So, but I like the way in which you actually phrased it because it's not funny what she said at all. It's not acceptable, and that's where I stand.
gotcha. All right, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Linda McMahon said, "Hey, if you're gonna teach Black history, you gotta teach both sides of it." And
And you
the
disagree with her?
what's that?
I'm saying, do you disagree with her?
Hell
No,
of a
actually,
statement.
wait one second. I agree with her. Can you do me a favor,
Don Juan,
Diana?
if you're gonna
The,
put your googly eyes, you know I'm gonna call you out to be a part of the conversation. No emoji party here.
Diana, hold up, wait. I agree with her. Can you do me a favor though? Can you tell me what the other side of Black history is?
Uh oh.
I don't even think it was the other side of Black history. I'm
No, yeah,
getting you the
no.
video. Let me play this video. Hold on, because there's a few versions. I first thought I heard you say
The both
that
sides.
that she was saying that you couldn't teach Black history or African American studies because it was DEI. She specifically said it's not DEI. So hold on, I'm gonna pull the video
You
and
see
then
how
I'll
good
play it.
God is.
Don't-
God. You see how God take care of people. They put it
I
right in the
thought
Matrix.
John Legere was in the room. Get us some T-Mobile.
They put it right in the Matrix. Put it right in the Matrix.
Bless her little heart.
um, I'm gonna pull that up as well. Both sides. Let's see here. Both sides of Black history. All right, both sides. Um,
But there's good people on both sides, as our president would say. There's good people.
let's see news. All right, so
Well, it could be seen in two ways because there's two sides telling that story. But I thought it was the comment was something like, what's the opposite of, or the other side. But then, there's Asian history, there's African American, there's Mexican, whatever. There is history from lots of different cultures, but that's probably not what she was referencing.
Clearly not. I mean, of course, two things could be same at the same true at the same time. Three
this is
things
what
can
she
be
said right
true at
here.
the same time.
Uh, she said, I do not think African studies or Middle East studies or Chinese studies are part of DEI if they are taught as part of a total history package. She said, so if you're given the facts on both sides, of course they're not DEI. So Lee was unsure if what both sides of Black History course would be, and raised the question about Tulsa and Bridges, prompting McMahon to respond that she will look into them. She can't respond. So hopefully Diana will bring that up. Uh, so
Oh, she didn't know
and
what Tulsa was, right? She didn't
no,
know nothing
no,
about Tulsa,
she didn't
right?
know what Tulsa was. No, they said Lee was unsure. So asked a question. Does she know what about Tulsa and Bridges? Prompted McMahon to respond that she would look into them. That in turn led to Lee asking, "Do you know about the Tulsa race massacre? What the Tulsa race massacre is?" McMahon replied, "I'll look into it more." The Tulsa episode is widely single worst outbreak of racial history in American history, when an attack on the city black community led to the destruction of more than 1,000 homes and businesses and the death of between 50 and 300. According to various estimates, the attack happened during a period of racial tensions marked by the growth of the Ku Klux Klans. But anyway, yeah, so she didn't know anything about any of that. So she was saying that, when you start saying you gotta teach both sides, that right there, you're like, oh, you gotta teach both sides of it. That's not good. That's not good at all. Not good at all. So it was pretty interesting that people are making these responses, and it's being memorialized. And I'm gonna tell you something. Like, who knows George Wallace? Who's familiar with George Wallace? Governor Wallace. Anyone familiar
I
with
am.
Governor
Yep,
Wallace?
I am.
Okay, he was the governor of Alabama, right? It was Alabama, correct? Anyone? All right. So anyway,
Yes, you are correct. Yes, yes, you are correct.
okay. So anyway, so his famous quote is, "I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever." Now, that was his famous quote. Now, when he made that quote, huh? When he made that quote, and people cheered. Okay, when he made that quote, he was around people like minded people. And I'm not saying MAGA is like that, but I gotta use them as an example. So you have the MAGA people right now, they're saying all this stuff, and they're like, yeah, and it was good to say that, and they had people agreeing with them. And if you go down to Alabama, it was around a lot of people that agree with them. You look at that quote now. This is why we tell the MAGA people. You look at that quote now, people run like, "Oh my God, that's heinous! Oh my God, that's horrible! Oh my God, all that other stuff." You, so that's what people aren't seeing. They're living in a moment, and they don't know. They're not thinking about how this stuff is going to be viewed. Not even 30 years from now, 10 years from now.
Jonathan,
So
Jonathan,
you
you
know,
know that the court did shoot down that they can't destroy the Board of Education today. I mean, did you see that? So it's kind of
yeah,
ironic that she said this today, and then there was that's what I saw. I didn't get a chance to read about it specifically, but they also they said that they can't destroy the Board of Education. Did you not see that? Because I haven't read about it yet,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it's ironic, though, the same day that she says something that's really unacceptable.
All right, I've got the clip. It's less than 3 minutes. You ready?
Let's do it. Yes, let's do it.
Hearing, you were asked by Senator Chris Murphy if an African American history class violated the administration's position on diversity, equity, and inclusion. You said you'd like to look into it. You've been on the job for a few months now. Have you been able to look into it?
I do not think that African studies or Middle East studies or Chinese studies are part of DEI if they are taught as part of the total history package. So that if you're giving the facts on both sides, of course they're not DEI.
I don't know what both sides of African American history would be.
Well, if African American history is
certainly, but what we recognize throughout what we recognize throughout education is that a course is only 1 year or one semester. It would be impossible to teach African history and say European history at the same time. Do you not agree that it makes sense that there would be separate courses for these courses of study? It has happened throughout history. We're able to do it not just in history. We're able to do it with different types of literature courses or different types of music courses. One wouldn't learn about Baroque music and necessarily have to also learn about African drumming at the same time, right? We can separate those courses.
Yes, we can. And I think just as we teach U.S. history as a separate course.
Certainly. So you do not agree. So you do agree that African American cultures and African history should not be eliminated from courses, particularly AP African history.
Well, I think that African history can certainly be taught and not be considered a DEI course.
Oh, thank you. I have a few other examples that I would like your thoughts on. Simple yes or no. If this is a legal DEI, an example, would you say that it would be an illegal DEI for a lesson plan on the Tulsa Race Massacre?
I'd have to get back to you on that.
Do you know what the Tulsa Race Massacre is?
I'd like to look into it more and get back to you on it.
Okay, so I look forward to that. How about the book Through My Eyes by Ruby Bridges, for instance?
I haven't read that.
Have you learned about Ruby Bridges?
If you have specific examples you'd like
that was a specific example.
I'll be very happy.
It was an incredibly specific example.
I named those in your questions, and I will look into it and get back to you on them.
Thank you. How about a school having a voluntary celebration for Pride Month?
Well, I think that
voluntary.
Well, let's make sure that in our schools,
this is yes or no?
We're looking. No, it's not.
Okay. How about social studies standards that teach that President Biden won the 2020 election?
I think our studies should all be taught accurately.
Yes or no?
I think our studies should.
No. The question was, do you believe that social studies standards that teach that President Biden won the 2020 election is an illegal DEI? Yes or no?
I think I have said we should teach accurately. We should.
No, you have not answered the question. I don't understand why you're incapable of answering.
I'm just not giving you the answer you want.
No, I want the answer, whatever your answer is.
I just gave you the answer.
No, the answer is yes or no.
No, the answer is
the answer is yes or no.
Gentleladies,
thank you so much. I yield back.
There you go. It took a little while to get like the right clip, because there were a lot of like half clips and things like that. But this one really captured her entire exchange, which was really interesting to watch.
That interviewer was awesome. That's like interrogation, clever, witty, articulate, badass.
That word again, dude. That word again.
Is she serious right now?
Is who serious, Ryan?
Allie. Come on, Allie. Come on.
Was it what? Well, yeah, Allie, were you serious? I took her seriously.
You think that interviewer did a bad job with asking questions?
Articulate.
Rapid fire articulate, Ryan.
I'm telling you, it's tomorrow's topic. It'll be in my dateline for sure.
Ali,
I take it you are not in agreement with how McMahon responded. She threw me off a little bit on the election part. I need to find out if they're, I can never really tell what the heck is real and what's not. Like
no,
I'm
there's
gonna.
a. I think Oklahoma requires them to teach that the election was stolen.
Oh my God, so that one is true. Okay, I'll put that in tomorrow's Dateline also. It's just a lot, Jonathan. This, like, even with the AI videos that are going viral, my goodness, man. You can't even tell. It's crazy. I think that's even more of a reason for this local type of journalistic art that I think sometimes happens in these rooms because, I do think that people are going to want to consume the craziness of the political world and have a place to like mastermind it or debate it or workshop it in their brains so that they don't go crazy. So I really appreciate it. I liked the Harvard conversation a lot. What Carlos said, because I got bits and pieces throughout the shows, really resonated. Um, the fact that Trump and this administration is picking a fight with, as someone on Clubhouse said, the United States most elite of the elite, right? And when Cindy was talking about her wanting somebody to tell her who the Wizard of Oz had behind the curtain, I think we're just watching it play out live. I really do. It's going to be very interesting. I had to put a poll up to see who the people thought were going to win, whether it's going to be Harvard or Trump or the people. And most of the people put the people. And that goes along with, I think it was Jamal on Clubhouse who was talking about um, how they're going to be okay. And Dr. Catherine backed that. And I think I agree with them. I don't think that the people should be freaking paying for that kind of stuff right now. It's sustainable. And maybe money can go towards other types of educational efforts like the trades if we want to start seeing more home building here. So great conversation. I really, really enjoyed it. And then, you're dropping this bomb over here with the other side of Black history, and that's always a hot topic. And who better to have it than us here? I think it's a conversation. Let me tell you what first came to mind. What Andrew said a while ago. Remember what was his exact quote on his? I think it was like his first or
He
second
said
day.
he said white people didn't start racism. We ended it.
Yeah, that came to mind, Jonathan. Like when you were saying like something, I think it was you that was saying, what the heck did she mean? I don't know why, but I thought of his infamous, famous, most transparent freaking first quote when he came to debate the news. So I think it's a good topic. I think if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. It's in the news. So good night, good show.
Yeah, if I,
Diana, Diana, I just think that when she said that the other when she said the other side I guess when she said the yeah, both sides, yeah, man. You gotta look at that. You gotta look at that, and when she said that, I sort of like I couldn't believe that she said that, both sides, of Black history.
I
That,
thought of
that,
that famous. Oh, sorry.
I mean, do they like? Yeah, we whipped their asses. It hurt us just as much as it hurt them to whip their ass, but we
Well, no,
needed to get the
Jonathan, and
productivity.
I mean, look, and Allie, I think Allie does have perspective on this too because I don't know if she agrees or if you agree, but I think it's colonization, right? To teach slavery is to teach colonization. And it's interesting what's coming to mind now is the whole, structure of what that looks like and how it leads eventually to capitalism and democracy in its own cyclical way. But again, I think the magic for me, the MAGA in the conversations are moving forward, right? So, for example, if there is such a divide with race and these conversations lead to, at the very least, being able to have them, it it moves the needle in one direction or the other, right? Um, there's a lot that's going on with institutionalized learning that I think we need to take a look at. And regardless of what side you're on, in my opinion, that clip that we just watched, the people could have gotten more out of it if the exchange would have been different on both sides. So this is going to be one that I'm going to cover for sure. I like education. And I think some of the things that we're hearing in California is that more and more people are looking at how to compete, is a word, for the funding that will be available for those that are going to get into teaching the trades or skilled labor or stuff like that. So it's something to watch in your states.
Yeah. What do you think about Job Corps, Diana?
I still haven't been able to confirm whether those centers had shut down prematurely because their deadline is for the end of this month. Um, but so far, it's still paused. And they're looking to replace it with that Make America Skilled Again proposal that's almost $3 billion. My problem with all of this, Jonathan, is kind of um, captured in the Harvard versus Trump case right now, where is Trump really doing all of these big moves recklessly without, foreseeing, or, is his concept of a plan something that he's at least blueprinted? Or is it more like, going along improv style? I would hate to think it's the latter. Um, but it's in that bill. And I'm just hoping that when they're here criticizing a previous administration or previous administrations, right? Because he goes after a lot of them, and saying that he's going to revolutionize the system, I hope it's for the people too. We're seeing him revolutionize the system for the system itself, right? The virality behind it, the freaking um, like really strange Hollywood actor apprentice type of touch to politics now that we've never really seen before. Or maybe it was like back in the Romans when it was so extravagant. You know what I mean? That has revolutionized for sure. He's revolutionized his own income. I heard somebody say that he wanted to be the wealthiest man on the planet. I think between him and Elon, both of them would be of that mindset. And we're seeing that already. But it's got to trickle down to the people, or he's going to lose in the end, right? In my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see. What do you think about Job Corps versus Make America Skilled Again?
I don't trust anything that says make something again. I'm sorry. Make America anything again. It has not turned out right. It has not turned out right.
That's an anti MAGA right there.
Nah, show me one. Show me one win besides the election.
What's funny about that question is if you say show me one win, that automatically means that somebody has to lose, right? And so immigration unfortunately comes to me because it's close to home, right? And but that's a huge win for a whole bunch of other Americans, Jonathan. And that's the challenge with republics and democracies, because don't you see what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge win for Trump with his people. And the promise of bringing back jobs through his, big, beautiful bill, tariff backed concept of a plan that his constituents feel is better than nothing at all. So it's going to be interesting, but immigration is a huge one. And then also, very respectfully, of course, with my hand on my heart, the gender um, institutionalized education for a lot of parents. That is a huge, huge win for some reason. And I'm going to say that the reason is because so many people have a different way of expressing themselves that I'll give you an example just to summarize it. I believe in uniforms at schools. I really do, for many, many, many different reasons. And it reminds me of that. So I'll leave it there.
Very articulate.
Why, thank you to God. Coming from you, that means a lot.
You're very articulate in the way you put that out. You,
Well spoken as fuck.
yeah, you put that out there. That's very articulate. You're very well spoken, Diana.
I'm going to go find out why you guys are so mad with that word. I promise you.
What is
Because
the
it's a
roots of this?
microaggression.
How is it, Mickey? How is it a
Okay, but Diana,
microaggression?
it's not up to your determination and you don't have to understand it, but it's just something that we point out because I mean, it's because in the past it's been a trope to point out a certain cadence of speech by people that happen to be African American. And it was kind of seen as a pat on the head, like an attaboy. So it doesn't have to make sense to you, but we know the history and the root of it. So yes, it's like a microaggression, and because you never really hear anyone else described that way. Just like they told Obama that he was very articulate. If I'm not mistaken, it was actually Biden that said that himself, wasn't it?
So you're saying the word slang is only used in a racial context?
Slang is only used in a racial context. What do you mean?
Slang. Like
Articulate is slang?
like no, like articulate. Well, are you connecting it to, like, for instance, subject verb agreement, or to cut out a word, or to, change the words? Are you talking about the actual?
You totally
Now,
went down the wrong highway.
if I said that someone was trailer park trash, what is that subject verb agreement to you?
But that's different. First of all, you used
No,
a
it's not
universal.
different.
Yes, it is. Hold on. I didn't
No, it's
interrupt you at
not.
all. I didn't interrupt you at all. It's
Yes, but
total.
you're
Wow.
okay.
This is like
Either
So
you guys want to learn or you don't. You're not going to
You
listen,
change your
guys.
mind.
this is like the Linda McMahon and whatever representative that was, right? This is literally happening right now. So either you want people to be educated, but remember, sometimes you say that you're not the one to be educating. So you got to make a choice too, right? This is why we should have the conversation. The reason it's different is because you used a word with a universal meaning, trash, right? When you use the word articulate, and it doesn't have to be up to me, it could be up to Webster, right? The dictionary. When you look up the word articulate, as far as I'm concerned, the books that we still have today don't say AKA. The word articulate is used in a derogatory way when speaking to a Black person, whether they be Black American or African American. I still don't see that in my Webster's dictionary book. That's the difference.
There are a lot of words that are not in your Webster's dictionary book. Everything does not have to be something that you can confirm, which is why, and I'm not educating, by the way, I'm just informing, because clearly you don't want to know. It's not something to educate you on. The fact that a lot of African Americans, I'm going to repeat it again for the third time since you don't want to accept that, see it as a microaggression because of how it's been utilized in the past, is why you may encounter people who are going to forcefully dismiss or disagree with you. Now, I can't make it any more clear than that. It does not have to make sense to you because you're not like us.
Can I
Okay?
ask you a
No,
question,
no,
Miki?
give me 1 second, Allie. My turn. And then just jump in afterwards. No, you're incorrect. Because when you do not use words with universal meanings and you treat people like shit when you come across one that uses the word, that looks poorly on you because you expect that that person has interacted with another Black person who has an issue like you do, because you said that a lot of Black people are super offended or offended at all when they're said to be articulate. And it was not until I came on social audio when I was told that I was too white to open my mouth that I ran into people like that. But in person life, I don't know if they hide it behind closed doors and they don't have the X to speak on it. But I never met somebody to be insulted when they've been told that they're articulate. And that's why I want to have the conversations, especially as we go into bigger ponds.
You
I'm
speak good.
sorry.
You speak good English. How long you been here?
Hold it, wait. It is possible to be articulate and use slang. There are plenty of people who speak using slang and they're articulate AF. They're
It's
well
not about
spoken and they
slang.
still use slang.
It's not about slang. Ravi had the appropriate response. Wow, thanks for teaching us. Appreciated it. Don Juan literally put in the chat, yes, the term articulate, when used in reference to Black people, can be considered a microaggression. That's literally what I just said, by the way, 3 times. This is
Nobody's
because,
denying you are
well,
what you're
it sounds
saying.
like you're
That your
denying
opinion
me
is
because,
not something
look
you
at
can
here.
have
Are
as an
you Black?
opinion.
Are you Black? Are you Black?
I think you know the answer.
No, actually, I don't. Are you Black?
I am not.
You
Okay.
guys, if we're gonna have a conversation, we're gonna have it the right way.
Right.
So
But there
yeah,
seems to
no,
be
no,
some
but let's not. Yeah, I don't
resistance.
want to get upset.
I'm not getting upset. I
I'm
just
not.
spoke on it because we kind of said that earlier and I didn't even say anything in the conversation. I'm just trying to inform. I don't understand why other people are so upset. Like
Well, help me
literally,
understand
it
how
was
it's.
put in the chat from a Google search. This is because it often carries an implicit assumption that Black individuals are not typically expected to be well spoken or capable of expressing themselves effectively. I've literally said because of the historical usage of that word. So you can
Okay,
either
well,
accept that or not.
okay, but because I don't live, that's not my reality. I should can just guess that's your reality and never ever call you articulate because it might be offensive. Is that what you're saying is appropriate?
No, because I don't really care what you think or what you call me. So,
What's
but
the
for other
point you're
people, it
making?
might.
It wasn't about my response.
It's
I
not a
was
point that I'm trying to make, sweetheart. It's 12:28, and I'm up and I'm bored, and I'm participating in the convo.
okay. Well,
Number one, you are
meaning
just a random
words mean
person.
something. I was
Words
trying to get the
absolutely mean
meaning making
something.
in your words.
You can Google it just like Don Juan Googled it, and it'll give you the same breakdown that I did. You're welcome.
Okay, thanks for what was not a dialogue.
Well, you're welcome. I'm not your great Black savior. It's not my position to inform you or really give a shit whether you get it or not.
Thank you for deductive leaping
Hey
like
guys, one
across the
second, one
Grand
second,
Canyon.
one second, guys. We're not having this. Look, this is an opportunity. Um, let's not ruin it, guys. It's a great opportunity, actually.
So I'm
Uh,
trying to see, Jonathan, if it is like a specific incident that led to it, but I don't see anything other than it somehow grew into reflecting what we're talking about right now.
I'll tell you exactly what I think it's about if anybody wants to give me the space to do it.
How much space are we talking about? Like 60 seconds, 90 seconds? No, I'm serious, Ali, because I want to hear it. But sometimes, like earlier during the exchange with Miki, you, I think, said something that was a little bit off what she was saying. So I'm just trying to stay focused on
Well, let's stay
where
in the
does it
now.
come from.
What did you pick up on? Because I trust your judgment. Let's
I
stay in the
just,
now.
well, thank you for that. I'm just trying to see how the word evolved from, for example, your mom was an English teacher, right?
Correct. Huge
Okay.
dictionary in the living room.
Right. So, how did the word articulate, which I've always known to be a positive word, evolve to mean something negative and insultive and derogatory towards Black people? How did it evolve?
Well,
That's what I'm looking at.
I mean, the assumption is that everybody else has some stereotype that black people are generally less well spoken. That's the thing that we have to step in that box to play the game. That we're in that stereotype. I don't agree. It's not my world. To me, articulate is a comment that's a compliment, and I have not lived in a world where I feel stereotypically black people are less articulate. That's not how I see things. So if that's people can take on their microaggression projection of me all they want because they put me in a stereotype, but it doesn't mean that that has to be my reality when it's not. It is what it is. I'm not here to manage everybody else's emotional reaction to whether I'm the projection of the stereotype or not. It's hard to get your point across and be articulate when people half listen. They don't ever address your point. They derail. They don't comment
Why are you
directly
getting
back
so
at you.
emotional? You're getting a little emotional over this.
Okay, blame and shame is like the favorite thing for people to do here. It's hilarious.
Okay, so I keep looking, and what it says is here's how the word articulate evolved to have potentially offensive connotations. Potentially offensive connotations. When a non Black person describes a Black person as articulate, it often carries an underlying implication that it's surprising for a Black person to possess such a skill. Okay. This stems from historical and societal racist stereotypes that have suggested Black people are generally less intelligent or less capable of clear and effective communication. So that was what you were referencing, Allie.
Right.
Therefore,
And
let me just finish this piece. This is one more bullet point. Therefore, calling a Black person articulate can unintentionally reinforce these negative stereotypes by portraying them as an exception to a perceived norm. I'm going to read that one more time and change one word. Therefore, calling a Black person articulate can unintentionally reinforce these negative instead of stereotypes. That word is the X for me, by
well,
portraying them as an exception to a perceived norm. What were you going to say?
right, but okay, so for me this is very similar. Let's say there's a really beautiful girl, right? And you go up to her and you say, "You're hot. You're so pretty." Or whatever, right? Maybe for her, right? Even though the guy thinks she probably wants that compliment, and I'm going to give her that compliment, or whatever. Like for the girl, maybe she would rather have had the guy say nothing because he was catcalling from across the street, or maybe she would have rather him said, you make intelligent comments, or I like your perspective. It seems wise, or something like that, right? You could in my world, if someone said to me just once, right, and I get it now. I've heard two names of people, one in the chat, Don Juan and Mickey. I will not reference being art that if I think they say something that is articulate, I will not say it to them. I will not give them what I think is a compliment because I'm not here to force my compliment on them if they see it as an insult. No big deal. But to expect that I should know that, I think is a little bizarre just because that wasn't I didn't have that reality, so I don't think every black person thinks that way. I don't
What
think
the fuck are
Were there
you
any
talking
presidents?
about?
Yeah. Were
Like,
there any
cause this is
presidents?
Are
Oh,
you
go
hold
ahead.
on.
listening? I think I was
Okay,
clear.
well,
I'm
why are
listening,
you
but yeah,
getting like, hold
no,
on,
no,
but the
no, no,
God,
no,
the God
no,
called
no.
her, the God called her emotional, and you're coming in super hot. I just,
Yeah, it's
Yeah, and you
gaslighting.
know
Don't
I'm gonna
even
come in
let
Allie,
me
it's
hot,
not
I
your
dog.
respond
turn.
to what I
Allie, pass the
said,
mic.
You
please.
know I'm
Allison,
gonna come in
pass,
hot though. So,
Allie, pass the
Okay, well
mic.
then
And that's,
respond to what I say
but
instead of
like you
gaslighting
rambling
me
and
with
keep Allie, you rambling and keep going off talking
I know, but
about
hold on
still
one
black
second, Rico.
people
gaslighting.
I'm going
being
to pass it. I'm going
articulate,
to
and
pass it
this is
right
not
back to you.
like,
Okay,
come
well
on,
that's
yo.
still
Okay,
gaslighting.
Rico.
Oh, hell
Like
no.
you
You
are
guys,
doing the most
stop
right
or we're not
now.
going to have the
Still
conversation. Give me one
gaslighting.
second. Allison, if you unmic again, we're not going to have the convo. Either we're going to have the convo respectfully or we're not going to have the convo. JB's already let us talk more than he usually lets us talk on this topic anyway. All I wanted
Why
to
you guys
say
so
was,
violent? Why y'all
give me
so
one,
mad?
exactly, to God.
I'm
So
not
to
mad.
God
I'm just
called
like, yo,
Allie.
the ramp.
Listen,
I didn't
I'm going
call
to
her out
pass it
on
right back
anything.
to you, Rico. I just want to tell you this. Allison was called emotional. You came in hot. That's all I wanted to tell you. The mic's on you, Allison. Please let him land. Not a single person interrupted you.
All right. So by you trying to give this whole little history lesson on black people and articulate and all this other that like miss out with all of that shit. I'm sorry. And you know what I mean? I was listening. I tried to give it a chance, right? To hear where you're going, but it's really amounting to nothing. Like it's almost low key, like disrespectful the way you kind of thrown it out there and just, you know what I mean, like where are you going with this? That's what I really want to know. What with your whole with that whole reading that you did and explaining, where are you going with this?
I grew up in the South, and in the
That
South, I got people talking like this, and this maybe you think it sounds like I'm talking like a black person, but I'm talking about people where I grew up because I was raised in Alabama, Arkansas. Like to me, slang or a certain accent or I don't. It's I see things differently. I don't have a stereotype in my head that black people are not articulate. I know a lot of people have judged me as I couldn't be articulate when I had a southern accent a bit more, sounded, whatever. Like it's just I think I was clear in the points I made and none of them you addressed.
So why do people think that people with a southern accent, right, are not bright?
It's just
I
a
think
country thing.
there's a bunch of back ass bullshit country shit that's gone down. It's called the Civil War.
No, but I mean, there had to be some people down there that were smart. But what about the way that the way that they were, like Barth, right? What makes people like that sound like they're just ignorant?
There's a stereotype for sure, I think I can safely say, about the Southern accent and lack of intelligence.
Well, isn't there also a group of people that say Republicans are less educated than Democrats? Is that a true stat? Because that's said in these rooms quite often.
More rich, maybe, would be a good stereotype.
I heard
Yeah,
Democrats
but
are actually more rich.
that's no comparison to what you guys are referencing right
Well, she
now
brought up the Civil War.
in reference to the word articulate. Right? It's just it's just
But that
undermining. It's literally undermining one's intelligence in advance, right? It's like you're putting them in a box before you even open up the damn box to see if they can get out the damn box, and it's just really insulting. It's really kind of patronizing in a sense. And this isn't new. This is old, right? Some people subscribe to it, some don't. To Ali's point, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this has been a thing forever, especially particularly to black people when it comes to them being called articulate after they complete a sentence or a phrase or whatever. Because when you say that, it kind of just, again, it just puts them in the sense of you didn't expect that from them, right? Like it was kind of like out of the norm for them to be articulate. Right? So when giving a compliment to a quote unquote black person, if you want to be in the safe zone, just call them well spoken or say it was well spoken. Whatever they said was well spoken or well said. But that word articulate, it just carries a lot of negativity when it comes to us. Unfortunately, not me per se, but us as a collective.
But see, that's
I
Well,
I
Estate. You
just
said,
about
give me
I
one
just about
second.
to ask you that.
Go for it. Let me just say this really quick, you guys. So I think one of the things that Ali pointed out was for the expectation of her to feel that all
people who are Black are going to be offended by the use of that word. And it sounds like, especially Don Juan, when you say not me, but your community, it sounds like the community wants a universal word to no longer be used because of how it makes some of you feel, not all of you. So the next question would be, if all people who are Black agree with you that that word shouldn't be used for Black people, I can tell you that that's not going to happen, because at
Okay,
least
well,
right
to
now,
interject on that
give me
really
one
quick,
second.
if
Just
you don't
before
mind.
you
Well,
interject, I'm going to land, because I know plenty of Black people who will come on this stage, especially when we go some other place, that are going to be able to have really big debates on this, because you cannot take a word and weaponize it. Because when somebody comes in who has never had someone tell them how that word makes them feel, because I'll tell you this, if I have a Black friend, which you guys make fun of when we say those things, that tells me, you know what, Diana, this is how this makes me feel. Of course, I'm not going to say it with that person. That
And I
is
already
a
said that too.
personal,
I'm
that's
sorry.
a personal respect, right? But to go and attack someone, ridicule them, mock them, or put yourself in that box, or because you have put yourself in that box, I think that's wrong. And you know what? When I'm not saying that what McMahon did on that whole 3 minute clip was brilliant, but I think she definitely kept her cool, because if she was supposed to know who the person was that she was asked, you saw how she was mocked for not knowing. And I think the people lose when that happens. Because at the end
And
of the day, when you have the mic and you can move and inspire and you choose to do something different, that's a choice.
she wasn't asked a person. She was asked about the biggest race massacre in American history,
And then
and
she
she
was
didn't
asked
know.
about the
And she's the
person.
Secretary of Education.
She didn't say she didn't know about Tulsa. She said that
Yes,
she
she did.
hadn't. No,
She had
she
to look it up.
didn't. She said that she didn't know about the person, that
She had to look it
her
up.
name
She
is
said she had to look
Ruby.
it up. The
She
Tulsa
said
race
she'll
riot.
look into it and get back to you. Look into
Yeah,
it.
that's what
Correct.
she said.
Yes, to look into it.
Look into it. Like, what do you mean look into it? No, who doesn't know about that?
It's not about who doesn't
But
know. It's
I
a
mean, but even though you threw that red herring in the box, right? To be honest with you, I think what we're talking about here is cultural competence and cultural humility, right? And a lot of people don't have it. A lot of people don't have cultural competence. They're not willing
I
to
just showed
learn.
it in the chat
They're
with
not
my
willing to
comment.
learn about other cultures and listen and understand what people are talking about and
hmm
understand their own biases, right? Understand your own biases and step into the fact that you do have biases and you're not willing to learn from other people about their culture and how they see it.
how do you want people to learn when people are not willing to teach, or they
Well, you
Well, you
mock
got to
for
be
ask
not
But
willing to
the
learn.
God,
out
or
the
they
God,
mock
the
curiosity.
God.
or they mock for
Like
not
for
Let
knowing.
me
instance, hold
Allie,
on, let
you
me just
gotta
give me
no, you gotta
let
be
me
able to
model it.
no, it's not
give me
about
1 second.
it's not about let you this, it's about let you learn how to flow.
Can you let
That's what
Jotham
it's
get in?
about. Just
So
relax. Yes, Jotham, and then Allie.
the God, I want to throw this out there, and it's a question to the floor also. Do you believe that there are people who honestly do not know, I mean, totally ignorant to other races and that their beliefs, what trigger them, and all of that stuff? Do you still believe that there are people alive today that are that way?
If
The
they
Yeah,
God
don't,
that
first.
if they don't
yeah,
want to be,
yeah, that's what you call privilege.
yeah, if they don't want to be,
How is that? How is that privilege?
It's privilege because it's privilege for you not to have to worry about those things.
hmm
Okay,
that's
so
easy.
let's say you are in, let's say, Georgia or wherever you grew up, and you have never left your town, never left your city. Is that privilege?
Yes, it is.
Are we
Okay.
talking about what kind of privilege? Are we talking about color privilege, class privilege, education privilege? What kind of privilege?
You would have to be privileged in this day and time, right? Not to know about any other people's plights in a country that is so diverse.
That's word. That's word too.
I
That's
disagree with
easy,
that.
folks.
I
How?
disagree with that because
How?
I go into neighborhoods because I market a lot in here in the South. I go into neighborhoods where only thing they have is you'll see the little white kid outside playing a banjo. No form of devices. They still have neighborhoods like that, and they don't know outside of their community. I've never left the city. Their closest spot is a Piggly Wiggly, and
So they don't have a TV. They don't have a TV. They don't have a radio. They don't have books. They didn't read about the Civil War. They didn't read about Indian removal. They don't know anything about American history.
so it's not that they don't know about American history. Some of the things that these trigger words that we're talking about, they're ignorant to them. They don't know about them.
Right. But the problem is, and I'll give an example, and one which, if two was here, he would agree. Earlier, was that yesterday, Don Juan? I make some very privileged comments about growing up in certain areas because I've never grown up in those areas. So my opinions about those conversations with people that are more familiar with me, it's purely conjecture. And Don Juan, I want to apologize to you because this, hit dog will holler, because I've made a lot of assumptions about people growing up in certain arenas. Does it matter that I'm black and I'm not white? Absolutely not. Right. But that was my privilege speaking. And so I get the need to sometimes be like, oh, well, this is what I believe and this is what I think. And that just doesn't make any sense because it's just stupid. So
Hmm.
I'm acknowledging, oh, I'll let you speak, Don Juan, because I'm making a sincere apology because I realized in this entire conversation that I did the same damn thing. That's growth,
Nah,
y'all. Shut up.
I,
Amen and
I
hallelujah.
I just
And
agree
the
with the God, man. The God is 100% correct, man. And Jonathan, I don't think you're fully grasping what he's saying by using the word privilege, because it would be a privilege for me to just have to know one thing, one way. That's just it. That's a privilege, bro. It would be a more of a tassel or more of a test or whatever you want to call it for me to have to know and be educated on multiple things, right? So me personally, for me, I can't speak for everyone else, but I know what's offensive to white people. I know what's offensive to Mexican people. I know what's offensive to Italians. I know what's offensive. Why? Because I purposely wanted to know these things because, like he said, we live in such a diverse situation. Who wouldn't want to learn themselves of these things, right? So that's just for me. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but for me, I'm not sitting there and like, oh my God, I didn't know he didn't like the word cracker. Or I didn't know why. I didn't know. I like, come on, man. Like these are things you just know. And the one, me personally, and I'm only saying this personally because even the Bible says when you judge, make sure whatever you judge and you don't condone it, right? So I can purposely speak on this, right? Shame on the person that don't know. That means you didn't want to be informed. You didn't care. You were privileged enough to not have to care, to know what's offensive to the next person, whether it be a word, an action, a gesture, that didn't matter, right? Again, we're in a diverse situation, so it would be in your best interest to educate yourself on certain things, especially if you're going to commingle with other races and other ethnicities. It'd be in your best interest to do that than to be dumbfounded, not literally dumbfounded, but to be wowed that, oh my God, I didn't know that when that's been a thing before you were even born. I think that's
Can
where
I
we get
go
it
now?
twisted.
Oh, thought you were
Absolutely.
done.
No, I'm done. Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm done for
Go
sure.
ahead.
Okay. So it's like, okay, you're saying I know everything, right? About everybody else's whatever, but we all have limited context, right? So I never called anybody stupid for being offended that I might call them articulate if they're black. I am very open, and I already said this 20 minutes ago, right? If two people here have made it clear they don't want that word used, then I'll say well spoken, done deal. Now, the thing that I learned is like, okay,
No, well spoken is just as
no, that is not what I was just told by the person
No
that just
one
spoke.
said not to use the word. We literally try. Oh my goodness. This is the problem. You don't want to be educated or informed. You want to judge. We literally told you, we read it out. Somebody Googled it. You can Google it. Somebody even read it from another source. It is the intent, the phrasing. It's still making the perception could be, because we never said every single person of color in the entire world. It's just like assuming that someone with an accent is not American. That's called a microaggression. You're making an assumption for African Americans and a lot of other minorities, I might add. It's not just African Americans, but we seem to get most of the the angst about this. As JB said, and y'all know JB, he
Just
doesn't even
let's
like to
acknowledge you
discuss race.
interrupted me. I'd like to jump in when you're done and finish my
Okay,
sentence.
so now you're an expert
Acknowledged,
on this.
acknowledged.
So you don't want to be informed. You just want to pass
That's
judgment.
No, I'm just
gaslighting.
acknowledging Allie. I
Yeah, guys,
acknowledge.
All
guys,
I
right,
guys,
let me
acknowledge
go
right
back
guys,
on
now.
Mickey
mute.
should just
guys.
ask for
We're handling. Yeah, we're gonna have this conversation. Let's do so the right way, guys. Let's not.
Well, then I could finish my sentence maybe if Mickey will let me do
Go
it.
finish this. Finish your sentence.
To the person that was speaking before I spoke, they said, Mickey, that well spoken was better
No,
than articulate. And I'm repeating back that. So don't act like it wasn't said, please, because that's directly what I was responding to. And I was bringing humility and cultural curiosity when I'm saying, okay, that's fine. You can call me stupid or ignorant for not knowing, right? That I'm not supposed to call black people intelligent. If that's your point, Mickey. But the other point was, hey, just say well spoken instead of articulate. So for the person that said that, what's the difference between those two words? And is if that's not the point, then if I want to give a compliment to a black person and call them intelligent and I can't use well spoken or articulate, what word am I supposed to use? Or am I never allowed to call a black person intelligent?
You're screaming.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Let
Let's
the
take the
record
temperature down a little
show.
bit.
It's
Let the
just loud
record
and
show.
just loud
Weird.
and
I'm
mad.
trying to
Okay,
get it.
hold on.
Educate
Allison,
me.
Allison, let the record show that this is why I believe we should not be, I'm going to use the freaking word banning the word articulate towards people of color. Y'all have lost your mind. And Jonathan Bing, you try to add another word on there. I don't know if you noticed, but you try to take away well spoken. And you guys who are ready to call Allison emotional, never forget Rico who came in hot. Y'all come in hot too. So she has a right to feel the way she feels right now, which is, good Lord, what word am I allowed to use? So I
And
Okay,
they're
but look
all
in the
appreciate.
chat.
and they're always gonna this is
And
what they're
Don
always
Juan,
gonna
I'm
want.
coming after
Gaslight,
you.
gaslight,
But
shut the
just
fuck
Hold
up
we
and be
can't do
on,
quiet.
that.
hold
That's
on.
impossible.
Take a deep breath,
But
Allison.
just look in the
For
chat. Just look in the
no,
chat,
hold
right?
on, Mister. Look in
These
the
things are
chat.
Googleable,
Listen,
Let's
man.
go
listen.
full
No,
This is the
steaming.
problem
Allison,
here,
I'm gonna
man.
tell
Wow.
you one more time.
This is the
Don Juan, let
problem.
me
Make your
tell you
friends
something.
hating.
Let me tell you
That's a
something,
friend's
Don Juan.
bond on hating the same.
Allison, you couldn't flow if you needed to freaking save your life. Relax. Don Juan, you are contradicting yourself and you don't even know it.
How am I
You don't even know
Okay,
it.
let me listen. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. One thing I'm not a fan of is contradiction. Okay, so you can stop right
I mean, I
there.
said you didn't
Pretty
know it.
please, hold on. You can stop right there. Okay,
Like you interrupted me.
hold on,
I
because
take it back,
you just
Don
called
Juan.
me
I
Nobody,
speak
out.
your
Hold on, you
clarification.
just called me out,
I
right?
called you out,
Listen,
but you could have
right.
waited. Allison, I'm gonna drop
He
you.
clar-
I promise you, I'm
Right,
gonna
but you're like
drop you.
calling everyone out. It's like you're this grand conductor right now, and that's
I am.
all
I'm
cute
moderating,
and cool,
bro.
and that's great, right? But
Don't.
don't call
Why
people
are you
out and
mad?
expect
Why are
them
you
not to reply.
emotional? Why are you
That's not me.
emotional?
Like,
But
are
you're.
you trying
It
to get the
is you
show
right
here right now?
now.
I'm listen.
It is you right
I'll mute up
now.
on you so fast. You don't need to get down like
It
that.
is you
What
right
I'm saying
now.
is, I
Where's
already
2B? You sound
said.
like 2B right now. I'll call him out
Listen,
too.
come
Why
on.
are
Like, what are you
you
doing
so
right now?
mad?
What do,
Why did you interrupt me?
is
I
this a
didn't
part of the
interrupt
segment that
you.
we're doing? Is this brand new? We're
It's
doing. Come
it
on,
is
don't do
yeah,
that,
it
man.
is.
Yeah,
It's after
this
hours.
is
Let's have
kind
a
of weird.
conversation,
It's
It's
right?
kind of
it's
weird.
This is not
what
cool,
who's
man.
the other
Let's have a
person saying it's
conversation, right?
weird? Who's
That
the
is
other
Can
weird.
Can
we
we
person
hear
hear
saying
why
it?
it?
she
Oh,
said
the
that,
Okay,
Allison?
guy?
let's do one mic,
Can
please.
we
Come
hear
on,
why she
Yeah,
guys.
said that?
Come
Yeah.
on.
yeah.
One mic,
I
Why
one
did
just
you
wanted
mic,
to
interrupt
reply to
me?
something that she
I was
said
Uh,
earlier,
speaking.
right?
Can I just give a
one
quick
mic.
recap? Can I give a quick recap? Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely
sure.
All
not.
right. So
Why was
let me
I
just give a
interrupted?
quick. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it
Absolutely
right back.
not.
I'm gonna turn it right back over to you. I'm gonna turn it right back
Uh-huh.
over to you. I just want to
Okay.
change the course, right? I just want to give a quick recap, right? So the conversation we're having right now is about whether, when people say that a black person is articulate, whether it's a microaggression, right? And the issue right here is that people are telling people who feel it's a microaggression that it's not.
That's
And
not
that's
true.
that's
Was
All
that
just
all of
really?
us
You
don't think it
interrupted
that
me to
way.
give that type of recap. Here's the
this is
recap,
this is a
right?
true
Nobody's
No,
recap.
no, no,
denying
no,
what you
no.
feel you
First
are
of
not
all,
feeling.
Allison, I promise you, I will not agree to moderate these conversations anymore if you cannot control yourself. Respectfully. JB's only allowing us to have this conversation because we haven't reached the level of stupidity that we always get to in having these conversations. Okay? So I understand that you're upset. And I know that you represent a whole bunch of people that don't come off mic to have this conversation. So now that it's in the news, we get to talk about it. So, Don Juan, why did you interrupt me? You have the mic.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm not going to answer that question because you literally said my name and then you said I was contradicting myself. So at that point, I have every right to interject. It's not called interrupting you. It's called interjecting.
No,
Okay,
you should hear why she
and
said
that
you
is
were
what I did.
contradicting herself.
Okay, so you
Well,
just
there
contradicted
was no
yourself
need for
First,
again. I'll
that.
give you, you
And
just
then you see
contradicted
how he
yourself
just
again.
interjected right there. Could I have called
Yes.
that interrupting me, or was he just
No,
interjecting?
but like I'll give you an example. I asked you a question, you said you weren't going to answer it, and you did. You interrupted me because I called out your name. That's all you had to say. So, the reason that I said that you were contradicting yourself in my perspective, and I used the word without knowing, is for example, when you said, not me, but my community, right? So, then you said something to the effect of, you if you wanted to hang around, let's add do business with, or whatever the X is, if you want to X with people of color, you should go and learn what, that you cannot use the word articulate because it brings up X, Y, and Z, and then you go into how are we teaching slavery. Fine. What if there are Black people, brown people, and other people of color who don't even talk about that because they don't concern themselves with that? They concern themselves with something else. I'm noticing that, and it's not now, right? It's always. Certain populations, mine included, will speak up about things that sometimes they don't even agree with in the name of the community. Great. But I'm going to tell you something right now. This is what a slippery slope looks like. You can't demonize people, especially on the spot and mocking them when they use the word articulate to describe how a person of color is making them feel when they're speaking. That is crazy to me. So, for the record, that's the summary. The word articulate should not
That
be
wasn't
banned.
a summary. That was
Uh
your
Are you
huh.
done?
argument.
I
That
am
wasn't a
done. Did you
Like,
want
summary.
to
are you
go
done?
again? Did you
That
Because
want to
for
was your
go
one, you
again?
did.
argument.
Hold on. You did all that literally for nothing because I literally didn't say anything of what you said. You literally said some of this or maybe said that and X this, and I said none of that. I never used the word community. I never said that word, so I don't know what you heard. Again, I don't know if this is performative for you right now, but I was actually having a really good conversation with the room. Okay, that's why I started off by saying I personally don't subscribe. Right? You can call me articulate, well
What
spoken.
does that mean you
It
don't
wouldn't bother
subscribe?
to
What
what
does
I
that
just
mean?
to what I'm alluding to now. I'm trying to explain it to you, right? So if you were to tell me I was articulate or well spoken, it personally wouldn't bother me. But I'm telling you, as a collective is the word I use, and that's been around before you and I were born. That's just been a thing. So again, I was just agreeing with Mickey. I was agreeing with the guy, and I was just adding to their points. I never initially said anything in reference to myself. I first started off by saying I personally don't subscribe to not what's not cool to certain people as far as words are concerned, as far as giving a compliment, right? Because you guys keep saying that word is a complimentary word, so why get offended? Well, it's been an offensive word to a certain set of people for longer than you and I again have been born. So for you to come in and say, "Oh, it's brand new, we need to be taught," well, that's full of crap in my personal opinion. Again, because me personally, I understand to God's point, we live in a diverse situation. So wouldn't it be smart of me that if I want to um, commune and converse with other ethnicities and races, is what I said, wouldn't it be in my best interest to learn what's offensive to them?
I
When I
guess
meet a
it would
girl, hold on,
depend
hold
on
on,
who
hold
you'd
on, hold on,
subscribe.
hold on. No, no, no. When I meet a female, I didn't
See,
cut
I
you off.
think you guys
Hold
talk
on.
to like talk, not to
No,
have a
hold on.
combo.
Stop. No, stop. Because you said a whole bunch of stuff that had nothing to do with what
I
I
know,
said.
but
So
the
now I'm
flow's
just, so
off.
now, no, it's not. It's off because it didn't go how you
It's
wanted it to go, right?
no, it's
Because
just
you
that
didn't
you don't
repeat
understand
anything that
flow
I
yet.
said. This ain't about a flow. We're having a
I heard everything
conversation.
you said. I'm trying to
Right,
build,
but
but
again,
you're
you're trying to
like,
be this grand conductor, and it's not landing. You're
I'm a
trying to tell people when to
moderator. What
talk.
can I tell
Well,
you?
okay, well,
Sorry.
guess what? That's not landing right now, right? And all I'm saying is this: when I meet a woman, the first thing I ask her is the things that she don't like. That's the first thing I ask her. And again, that's just for me. Some guys may want to know what the woman like, what turns her on. That's not the first thing I want to know. I want to know what it is that you don't like, what makes you mad, what turns you off. That's the first thing I want to know. So if that's me with women, I'm like that with regular people, man. I want to know what's offensive, what's not cool. So I want to be the cool guy people like to hang around because I don't come off as an asshole or say things that I know are not cool or things that have been around that are known to be just derogatory way before. Like JB used the analogy the other day, using the word white trash and saying the N word is equivalent. There's no difference in that. They both mean the same damn thing as far as a derogatory term is concerned. So that's all I'm saying. Like if you're gonna be in this again diverse place, it would be in your best interest to learn what's offensive and what's not, or be privileged to be in the box and you don't have to. To the God's point.
Okay, can we build on the word subscribe? Because I can frame with that. So when you say that you don't subscribe to, and when I use letters, it's like placements, right? Because sometimes I believe we're saying the same thing but using different words. So when you said subscribe, and the reason I can frame with that is because I look at it from even how we choose to spend our time, our money, and our resources. So if you're saying that someone calling you articulate doesn't, you said that you don't subscribe to what? To not feeling insulted? Do you still judge the person for not knowing that that's the wrong word? Do you think that's the wrong word? Do you think that word shouldn't be used at all? I have so many questions because, again, I'm hyper focused on just the example of the room tonight with regards to this conversation. You,
Let me give you an
you
example, right? Let me give you a quick
okay?
example, right? So check this out. Right now, right? If I called you a bitch, right? You might get offended, though. You might not. Now, some women that be like, yo, yeah, I'm that bitch, da 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 da, and think that that's a good thing. Or I'm a boss bitch. But some women would be like, yo, you really violated me by calling me a bitch. So as a person, do I go around just calling women bitchs?
Okay, so and I saw Don Juan, thanks for the emoji that helps. To God, the word bitch and the word articulate aren't even in the same category. If you look, I don't know if you were
I'm not
here when
saying
I
it's the same category. I'm
hold
not
on, to
saying
God.
that.
I didn't interrupt you, and trust me. I don't know if you were here when I had the exchange with Miki and I used the Webster's dictionary. When you look at the word articulate, it doesn't give reference to it being negative. And it is
You
important.
being obtuse right now.
No, I'm not being no obtuse. This is coming from education. Okay. So
It's
it's
not. It's not coming from education. It's coming from social
The God.
relations.
okay. To God,
That's
how
where
do
I'm
you
coming from. The
go
God.
for it, Jotham? I haven't heard you speak. Go for it.
That's where I'm coming
We're
from
definitely
because
not going to get to common ground today. Maybe
the
mañana.
the the common ground of using that term articulate. I've been on stages in church, and my own people are using that word to me. Articulate, you're well spoken to. So I've never thought anything of it until 2009 when Obama was elected. Then I'm hearing that it's something bad to black people, to us. I'm like, wait a minute. My own people have been saying this to me for ages. I've been in stages where even the other race have been using it to me. So how is it offensive?
So what's the
But
difference in
I said,
context in what you're saying and
I was
what?
just gonna say that was a
Yeah,
horrible analogy,
yeah.
bro,
That's
because
because
just like
when I
hold on, bro,
first
Where
because
does
you
it
just
come
said
from
something
then?
very profound, bro. You just said something that was very you made a lot of sense, but it didn't at the same time because you actually added to our point.
because
Right?
no, because I
Oh, yeah,
asked the
no,
question
hold
up
on. You really
front.
just added to our point, right? Because that's like us calling you the N word, right? You hear that from us all the time. My people call
No,
me that.
none
Hold
of
on, to
my
your
friends.
point.
No,
Hold
none of
But
my
the
on,
friends
to
call
your
me the
definition is
N word.
negative.
hold on, but to you missing the point though, because the point that everyone's missing, which should be the common ground, is that word being used to a certain set of people, bro. Like how come we can't wrap our minds around that? Like what's so
Because
hard to
it's not
understand
all
about
of
that?
them, Don
Done.
Juan.
How
It's
are
not
you
I
all of
comparing
listen,
them.
the
you're
N
right.
word
No,
to a
listen, you're
compliment
right,
like
right? Hold
articulate?
on. You're right. But it's just like when JB used the analogy to or my bad, when Billy asked Andrew, or not Andrew, Barth, does he care being called the, the whatever trash word, right? He says no, right? Andrew took it mad offensive to the moon and started calling people the black B word and all. You know what I'm saying? So again, that word abroad, that term abroad, we know it's just a derogatory term to that set of people,
All right,
right?
folks.
Some people may think it's
CH,
cool.
I'm gonna have
Some
to do a
people may think
reset
it's
on
not.
here because
Some people think it's
I was
offensive. Some think it's not. To the guy's
I
point, the
did
B
not
word.
know this
Some women be
conversation would
like
take off
calling the
like this.
boss B
So
word, and some you got them messed up
we're
coming
gonna
at
go
them
back,
like that. It's the same. It's no difference, you guys.
and
It's
it's gonna
just
be a
It's
hard reset.
articulate doesn't
it's
have
words
those
that are
negative connotations
I have
So
a
So have
hand
you
up.
ever, I'm
Tyson's
sorry,
gonna handle this
Diana,
conversation.
have you ever
Tyson, you
heard
there?
of paradox or
Okay.
colloquialisms?
Yes, I am.
Because
Yeah,
do you know what
definitely. Okay,
literary
guys.
devices are?
Give me one
So
moment
the
here.
word, it's, I'm sorry, it's just,
This is an interesting
this just takes
conversation.
me back to like sixth grade. So you do realize that the word itself does not have to have the negative connotation literally listed in the definition, because that I could literally look at you and I could say, "Ooh, don't you look pretty?" And I could literally have that as an insult, even though it's a compliment.
That's what I
Because
said
I
45 minutes
suggest
ago.
you, okay, I'm so glad. Good for you. So I suggest that you take a look at literary devices, because that could also be utilized, but you know that under every word it does not list how it can be utilized in speech. You're just looking at the actual definition. Because remember, when we're having these conversations, no one is denying what articulate means. So I'm not sure why you keep referring to the library. You need to refer to a book of literature or look up literary devices.
I
Yeah,
think we need to
Nikki.
talk about
Well,
words like library and ask and get a little more real with this conversation. It's like circling, I feel like.
Yeah, it's circling because this could have been over within 2 minutes after a couple of people literally stated earlier on and just recently what was going on and put some information in the chat. But I
All right,
guess
we're
that
about to
you
do a
want to
hard
break it
reset,
down and
folks. 5
understand
seconds.
decades of what a large majority of
Uh,
African
if you're
Americans
listening
have
at
come to
home, that
assume
means we
and
have another
understand about
episode coming out later.
microaggressions.
Thank you.
And so, do you think, therefore, I should
No,
avoid
ma'am, I'm
calling
not doing this.
all
I don't
Black
really give a
people?
fuck. I don't really give a
Yeah,
shit.
it's
Ask
it's
them.
it's
You
it's
Ask
really too
dialogue
them.
late.
is like impossible with you,
Of
and that's
course it
Yo,
why
is,
Allie,
that's why
it's
because
too
you
late.
I'm
control
It's
the
two
telling you
o'clock
I
in the
narrative.
don't
morning.
care.
It's 2 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning.
I'm
You shouldn't
telling
be
you I don't
screaming
care, and
in
you
my
refuse
ear.
to